My favorite TV.
What have we got here? We've got
Some sandwiches, some
sandwiches,
salads, fruit, cheese.
fruit, cheese.
Yeah, more than enough, right?
It's so good to have you here
Yeah.
in Wycombe making a film.
Oh, amazing, right?
I
Like
know, I know. I
so
can
close to
enjoy
you.
some cheese.
Yes,
So,
indeed.
okay. So let's start at the beginning, the very beginning, like, Let me just put the camera on me quickly. Hi guys, welcome to Moving On TV. And I'm sitting down at a hotel here in the middle of West Wycombe to have a meal. Have some cheese, some lovely cheese and some lovely fruit, pineapple.
And we have crisps. Can you
Oh, I can
crisps?
have crisps. Yeah,
Please
yeah, yeah. Thank
help
you.
yourself.
All provided by the film crew. um, on the new series of Bridgeport. Is it called Bridgeport?
I'm not allowed to say it.
You're not allowed to say the name of the series?
Yeah, it's a Netflix series.
A
Yeah.
Netflix series,
Yeah.
okay.
Mhm.
The amount of people that watch this, it's not, I don't think it will make much difference. I don't think they'll find out, even if anybody watches it. Right, so I'm going to turn the camera around so you can see Vlad eating his lunch. And once he's famous, you must remember where you first saw him. Okay,
Cheers.
let's turn the camera around. Okay, so welcome back to Moving On TV. As I say, I'm counting on you getting famous. Okay.
But I said that, you never know. You might get famous before me. Or,
Me.
Yeah, who knows, yeah. Or
Well,
do something extraordinary and
we never
become
know.
my sponsor, Who knows?
One
It
of
might-
us,
You're
well,
one of us, yeah.
Well, as
yeah.
we know, whoever becomes famous first will sponsor the other
Mhm.
and build it and make sure we have a home and take care of each other.
Exactly.
Because that's what we do, don't we? So the only people that come on to Moving On TV are people that are special,
Mhm.
good, kind human beings that are going out there to do their best, not just for themselves, but for humanity.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's come back to the beginning. How did you end up in Wycombe? How am I having dinner here with you in Wycombe? So,
yeah, it's
so tell me
so
about
nice.
it.
Mm?
What happened? How did
Yeah,
it end up in
I'm-
Wycombe?
I've been sent an email by this agency, and they asked me if I can do a few days with them, this production, because I've done this with when they filmed the first season, and they invited me again, and I said, wow, that's nice, especially when I can do this for more than one day, like 2 days or 3 days, it's gonna be better money, and I'll have a good time with my colleagues, with actors, with supporting artists, etc. And at some point, it just dawned on me. I said, "Hi, Wycombe, West Wycombe. I've heard this from Laurene so many times, but for some reason, because of our musical, I always think about Amersham
Yeah.
rather than High Wycombe. But I knew that actually High Wycombe is closer to you than Amersham, And I said, okay, I'll just, text Laurene, see how she's doing, and just maybe surprise her if I'm really
Which
so
you've
close.
done.
Yeah.
Which you've done. Well, I live in between. I live in between High Wycombe and Amersham,
Yeah.
so it's easy for me to get to either.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's go back a little bit to what you're doing. I know you can't say the name of the series, but apparently there was series number one. So let's go back to that. So you were in series number one. Okay, so what did you do in the first series?
I was one of the posh owners of a small business, and because it's a period drama, we've got this posh costumes, from the 17th, 18th century.
Wow.
Yeah, and with this interesting jackets, and trousers that you've got the suspenders, or what they call them here in the UK, not there's another
Braces.
Yeah, braces. Yeah, yeah. I know that suspenders is the American
That's
one.
going to go more into cabaret.
Yeah. So yeah, we have this nice hairstyles. Unfortunately, I washed my hair just before I came on, but you could have seen the curls, So, and basically, there was this scene that we received the news that there will be a great event,
Uh-huh.
and I was featured there with another guy, you know, that reading the news and just showing everyone, you know, you could see on the camera, you know, the piece, the invitation, the special invitation, and I was heavily featured back then. To my surprise, that was not part of it because I'm in this film. I'm not acting as an actor, but just as a supporting artist. Or,
So what's the difference? So in the first series, well, obviously they called you back because you're very committed, Vlad, as we know. I remember with Encounters, it was quite funny because you turn up, you do another job, and then you turn up in the end. Well, at least you turned up.
Yeah.
At least you turned up. You
that
see,
was
that's
the
the
first,
difference.
only the first time, yeah.
That's the
Once
difference.
I committed myself, I did my best, you know, to
Yeah, I
be
know.
there, and I
I
loved it.
know.
Yeah.
I know.
So, yes, it was kind of a surprise that I was featured in the first season, you know. But with supporting artist work, you never know. You know?
Yeah.
You never know what might happen. Well, unlike being an actor, you know, because I can, I'm on both sides, you know, and I can see what life is like being an actor
Yeah.
and being a supporting artist. And I love acting, and especially when I'm given the opportunities to do some things, you know, I do them. And now I've got I've got some news for you guys.
What more news?
We've been filming the Cinderella, the new Cinderella film. It's a film.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I just wonder. No, it's on YouTube. There is a trailer, so I'm gonna tell you. So the stars, one of the stars is one of the very popular singers, young singers, and I was featured with her because
Oh,
I
wow.
did something intuitively, you know, very well because I'm an actor, and you know, it just comes natural to me.
Right.
Yeah, she almost fell into my hands, you know. So, and I reacted in such a way that the director liked it, and he said, "Oh, please, could you repeat that?" You know.
Yeah.
And everybody was watching it, you know, the support.
Oh my God, you are going to become famous.
they
I'm
were
telling
envious.
you,
They were
you're
so
becoming
envious.
famous.
Yeah, and this is Camila Cabello. Camila Cabello.
Okay.
Yeah, she's especially popular among the young generation. She's
I don't know who that
a
is.
pop
Sorry.
singer. She's a
Right.
pop singer from I think Spanish or Latino
Okay.
origins. Yeah, Camila Cabello. You can tell by the name. And her boyfriend, Sean. Sorry, I can't remember his name, but he's very famous too. A good musician. So, Gordon James or James Gordon, the comedian, the British comedian who lives now in the US. He was featured there too.
I don't know what you mean.
The woman, he's a very famous
Right.
comedian who would interview famous people in his car. while
Oh
driving.
yeah, him. Oh.
Yeah, James.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
Gordon
don't
or
want.
something.
I don't talk about him
Yeah,
on here.
okay, but anyways,
I think something's
people,
going on
yeah,
with him.
People like, you know, famous people like him, and
Yeah.
the lady who sang the song in this famous cartoon, Frozen.
All right.
Yeah, I forgot her name. Sorry, I'm so bad with names.
I don't
she,
know.
She used to be on Broadway.
Okay.
She's like a wonderful actress and singer, and she's been featured there too.
Okay.
So,
So can we watch this? Is it on
not
yet?
yet. It's,
No, you're
it's
going to
going
send
to
it
be
to
out
me.
very soon. Yeah.
Okay,
So I
wow.
hope, you know, that the
I'm
final
telling
cut.
you.
With the final cut, I'll be there.
You're
With
my
the
only
North
hope,
America.
Vlad.
Yeah.
You're my only hope that we ever get out there with moving on TV. So okay, that's exciting. So that's
Yeah.
very exciting.
Yeah.
So let's go back. Yeah, you know, it's your destiny. You know, you're brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Thank
Well,
you.
I am as well. So you know, I'm a good actress, and
Yeah,
and
you are.
you know, I just need that part. Or
Yeah.
I'd love to go back and do Piaf again and
Exactly.
do the shows. But anyway,
Yeah,
let's come back.
I've seen you. And it's so great.
Thank
Yeah.
you. I miss doing the breakdowns, the screaming, the crying, and,
Yeah.
and going crazy on stage.
Yeah.
It's so brilliant to be able to do that as an actor, as you know. Anyway, so coming back to what you're saying, so we're this TV series. So you did the first one, and that was on Netflix.
Yeah.
I must admit, I
It's
don't
still-
have
it's still
Netflix
on.
anymore. I have Amazon Prime because I had to choose to have one or the other, and
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it costs about, it's not much, but when you're not earning, you know, when,
Mm-hmm.
you know, So, but anyway, coming, and also it's got a bit of a bad name. It's got a bit of a bad name, and we've been told, you know, not to watch a lot of the stuff on Netflix,
Yeah,
but
there's
a
lots
lot of dreadful
questionable-
stuff on
questionable
there.
things,
Yeah.
Mhm.
So coming back to what you were saying, so on when you made this program, it's been on Netflix, but you can't tell us the name of the series.
Yes.
The first series.
Mhm.
What was the first series called?
Bridgerton.
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 And okay, and can you give me a general idea? What is it about? Is it about a family, or like a
Yes.
bit like the old British,
Yeah.
like
Some
Downton
royalties,
Abbey kind
some,
of thing?
Some royalties included, you know, like
Okay.
and a little bit of you know, of a lady who she was unaware of her origins,
Right.
only to later find out that she was from royal
Okay.
origins, but she was neglected, and you know, she was looked down
Right.
upon until they all realized that, you know, she's actually someone, you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But like Anastasia, the story of Anastasia, if
something
she
like that.
survived,
Yeah,
you
something
know,
like
what
that.
happened.
Yeah.
Okay, so that sounds really interesting, because I'll have to go. So what part what did you do in there? Were you doing extra? When we say, okay, what's the difference between someone who's doing extra work and someone who's doing a supporting actor? Is there a difference? Because I've done extra work in the past. I think me and Martin did some extra work years and years and years ago. I stopped doing that because I'm allergic to makeup, and I kept getting sick, so I couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
That was one of the reasons I had to stop, because I was getting so ill. You know, there was too much cancer in our family, so I couldn't do that. But
Yeah.
anyway, so coming back to you, so what's the difference? Do you want to explain to people the difference between an extra and a supporting artist?
An extra basically is background actor, or you know, and basically it could be anything, you know, just be a passerby, or a guest, or you know, a bar attendant, or you know, anything that's really background like role. So supporting artist is could be you know, the next level. Some people equate them, you know, say that they're the same. Other people and professionals, they make a difference. That a supporting artist could do much more. He's more professional.
Yeah.
He's like a you know, devout extra, you know, who's learned to do some little things like knowing how to stand before the camera, how to act, how to express any emotions, you know, reactions, you know, that are very adequate, and production depends on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
then
just
you
get
go,
the camera a little
then you
bit
go
closer
for
to
young,
you.
young actors inexperienced, and then you go for experienced actors.
I'm just going to get camera closer to you, just in case
No
the
worries.
sound isn't the best, because sometimes that.
Bon appetit, everyone who's having dinner with us now.
Yeah. Okay. So a supporting actor could be, you don't have to have lines. You're just literally, you're there.
But you can.
But you can actually, if someone say, I always did that scenario
Yeah.
where someone might drop out and they say, oh, Vlad, we like you and we know you're committed. We know that you're a really good worker. Would you like to have a part, you know?
Yes.
Because a lot of the time that happens, particularly
Yes.
on the stage,
Yes.
when you're an understudy, yeah? Okay, so you did the first series, and you did supporting actor, yeah, not extra but supporting actor, and I think, no, you see, I'm getting confused because you told me you made another film where you played the lawyer. So who did you play in Bridgerton?
I was that rich guy who had business, and
Oh, yeah,
I
the
was
business.
part of the high society. You know?
Okay, so if I check out the series, I'll see you.
Yes, yes.
Wow,
In
but
that-
you haven't
in
got
that
lines.
specific episode, you know, I don't have lines there.
No, okay, well that's great,
Yeah.
isn't it? You don't have to learn any.
Yeah, I know, because with this, with my last film, you know, it's still in production, the President's Speech that we did with the Nigerian
Yeah.
producers, you know, I had the lead role. I'm still having it, you know. I'm the general. I'm the, you know, like the military guy, you know,
Yeah.
he's in charge of everyone, and this is so, you know, this is so not me. Even
No,
though I've
exactly.
been military trained,
I
you
know.
know, this is so not me. So this
Wow.
was one of the greatest challenges, and I accepted it, you know, because at the beginning they told me that I'll have just an acting role, you know, but they didn't specify. And at some point, you know, very close to starting, you know, filming, they just told me, you know, we think that you're the best. You'll be the best for this role, you know, and this is how it all started, you know. And I'm telling you, it was a great challenge, you know,
Wow.
not just the lines and everything we
Yeah.
know as
Yeah.
actors, that lines and being able to be aware and present and adequate and you don't care about people, camera, you just, you know,
You just-
enter your role and
just
enter
do
your
it.
character
Yeah.
and do it, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, add upon this, you know, lots of hours, you know, working until late, you know,
Yeah.
and stuff like this. So this is going to be a great film.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
My experience is all on the stage. I'm more or less, I did some training, mostly self-taught.
Yeah.
But being on the stage and being in a film, I think I made one student film. I've never really done much film work. It must be really a lot more, I'd say it's a lot more tense and a lot more stressful than the stage. Because
On
on
the
the
one
you can get away with a lot on the stage, you know.
Yeah.
But then, on the other hand, on the stage, your voice has got to be completely different. You've got to use your voice differently when you're on the stage. Remember, we did a lot of work on projection
Definitely.
when I worked with you to project the voice,
Yeah.
because you've got this beautiful, gentle voice. But when you're on the stage, you've got to hit the back of the auditorium. I'm really lucky with that one. It took work. I wasn't always,
Yeah.
you know. It took Piaf was the one that taught
Yeah.
me projection
Yeah.
and of course singing. So when it comes to doing work, like I remember when I was doing my training and when the camera is like really there, you have to do your best to be in the character and not notice the camera, to give it your best work. It must be, have you ever cried on camera? Because it must be even very difficult.
On demand.
On
Yeah.
demand.
Yeah, I've got one of these
Really?
roles, you know. Yeah, it was in another film. I had again a very important role. So I was about to be assassinated. And,
Lucky
yeah,
you.
and
All these.
the scene, one of the scenes that we did, you
God.
know, the killer would come and I would like I would realize that something's going on, something's really wrong, that this guy is after me, you know, and he would approach me and I'll start begging him and asking what's going on, and I would see the knife in his hand and
Yeah.
you know, and I said, oh God, you know, there's something really wrong is going on here.
And then you
Yeah.
were.
And I started to cry and begging him, please do not kill me, you know. I remember.
Does he
when
kill you?
Yes. Yes.
Sorry.
I was all over in blood. You know,
Oh
in
my
mouth,
God.
in
Oh,
my mouth. Yeah, of course,
Ha-
artificial blood. I still
obviously,
remember.
but still,
Mhm.
I mean, did it take you? You know, as actors, we're always taught like I'd say the worst role I ever played was Mrs. Danvers in Rebecca.
Uh-huh.
She's very, very cold and calculating.
Yeah.
She's very cruel. She tries to kill Mrs. De Winter, push her out the window, and she's completely insane.
Yeah.
And there's no expression. She's like on the stage, like, I'll
Cold.
turn the camera around a second.
Yeah, please.
Mrs. Danvers is like that.
Poker face.
Poker face, nothing. It's like she's not allowed to show any feelings, right? Back to that. So, but you have to, but then I'd come home and have a laugh and you take it off and you go back to being Lauren again.
Yeah.
Now, Piaf was very interesting and Marie as well, because the depression and Piaf was incredible in the way you didn't need to get caught up in her emotions because there was so much joy
Yeah.
with jumping into the audience and singing and dancing and fun. But with Maria Callas, it was quite easy to take on her depressions
Yeah.
because she committed suicide at
It's
the end.
dangerous.
And I ended the show with her committing suicide. And because I have depression in me, so anyway, so when you were up against a situation like this, where you know you've been murdered, you had the blood everywhere, it must have, did it not create a little bit of trauma in you?
No, thank God.
Luckily,
I was able to,
how did
to
you?
detach myself.
How were
yeah.
you able to detach?
Yeah, that's the funny thing with me. At least, until now, I hope in the future I'll be able to control this, because I know that some people just lose control. They go so much into it, that they can't discriminate it. They can't separate it. For some reason, there is kind of a invisible emotional wall, that when I go deeper and deeper in the role, it just hits that role and that wall, and that's it. So I didn't feel bad at all. Actually,
Right.
I had fun, but it was a real crying, I had to cry on demand. I can do that, but not every time. So we had to use some things, the director used some things, to make me cry, to make it more.
Yeah, they sometimes they put something in your eye.
Yeah, to
Because
irritate.
it's not about tears.
Yeah,
It's about the expression of the emotions.
exactly. Yeah.
It's the only
Yeah.
time. I mean, when I went on the main scene for me was when she loses her baby, when the baby dies, and then when Marcel dies. And usually I would get to such a level where the tears just didn't come. They just, ooh, but people did feel it. They felt the sadness and the grief. But the day my father died, everything just exploded on the stage. It was amazing. It was like a catalyst. Dad was there, obviously.
Yeah.
And I got a standing ovation and 5-star review for that one.
Yeah.
Because the tears just flowed. Well, because my dad had just died, it was a lot easier to.
Yeah.
Anyway, so keep talking about this, because if someone is a young actor and they're starting out, they need to know how to detach. And we don't all go to drama school. I did go to drama to a certain extent. I went for a little while, and I did whatever I could training wise to learn how to detach. And these are such important techniques. But nowadays we don't know what's coming. We don't know what's going on. So you may need to train yourself literally on the stage with a small theatre and go out and perform on the street, just to act.
Yeah, friends of mine, like there is this director, Vanessa, upon asking her for an advice what to do, because I've got some training, but I was thinking about like going to university, maybe doing a degree in acting or something like that. And she was so blunt and straightforward. She said, "You don't need it."
No, you don't. No way. You're amazing.
Yeah,
You're
not
there.
just because of that. Not just because of that, but she said, so many things nowadays that they would study there are so useless and far away from the reality. And she gave herself as an example, because she's an actress, she's a director, and she's got films, and film awards around the world,
Yeah.
And she said, I started like as an extra. This was my humble beginnings. And she gave me this advice.
Well, you just learn as you go along. As I said, after I recovered from the mental health issue they gave me, I was able to run a theatre. I was able to work with people. I was able to get on with them. I was able to pay people. When we sold tickets and we worked, we all worked really, really hard.
And you did it
like Edinburgh.
You did it at least twice, because you did it with us too.
I always made sure that you got paid.
Exactly, yeah.
I always take care of the crew at first and the actors, and then whatever's left, because to me the pleasure is what I'm already living every minute of my life and living my dream. But you guys, it's that's how I always saw it. But my dream is that we have our own theatre, we have our own space to work in, and we can do anything whenever we want it, so we don't have to go out there looking to pay anybody, and then we just get enough money so we all get paid. So you learn. But the other thing as well, Vlad, is when you're acting, you're just really, it's the same as being in the world now. We're all doing it. If you are anything like us and you're wide awake and you look at what's going on in the world, if you didn't detach, you'd be mad.
Of course.
You'd be insane. I mean, there's no way that my head would not be able to take medication if I wasn't able to detach from what's going on in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd be on everything.
Yeah.
I'd be on every drug,
Yeah.
every drink.
Exactly. You don't need to
No.
do acting or meta acting. You know, you don't need. You just have to look on the news.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you
Yeah.
just have to learn to look at it
Exactly.
from above,
Exactly.
and you don't get caught up in it.
Yeah.
But I couldn't have done that if I hadn't gone into the therapeutic community, and where I was able to release my biggest shocks.
Yeah.
Because I was, that's what helped me. And then when I came out there, I was able to connect to people and run theatre
Yeah.
and be a boss when I needed to be one in my
Yeah.
strength.
Yeah.
And without that, I'd be dead now. I wouldn't be negotiating this madness. If I hadn't gone in there, I'd be on every medicine you can imagine.
Yeah.
But now I don't. I have to figure it out. Tap dancing for me
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
moment is
Lovely.
dancing is very,
Yeah.
very balancing
I
and
trust
very
that
calming.
you're going to continue to broadcast on Moving on TV some of your videos.
Oh, I
dancing.
put all
Yeah,
the
you'll-
dancing on
you'll
there,
continue,
yeah. Because I want people to
maybe we've got
understand.
tonight some people who have
Yeah, there
never
are some
seen you
people
before.
watching, yeah.
And they might be interested to go on and see you, you know?
This will go on, Vlad. It'll go on regularly because this is a fantastic interview from you, giving also your experience. I'm giving my experience, saying to people, you have to do what you love. So Vlad is acting. He's doing what he loves. I'm doing dancing. I don't get paid anything to dance,
Please
but
get the camera on you. Is it on you now?
on me.
Yeah, please. Yeah, because this is very important what you're
Right.
saying. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, we do what we love. We do creativity. I go into a hall and I dance for 2 hours, not just because it's structure, and structure keeps the mind
Yeah.
focused. Like
Yeah.
when you're doing a show,
It's good.
you're learning lines, and so it keeps you balanced. But it's also good exercise, and exercise is the mind, body, spirit, and it makes me happy, and it keeps me focused. It gets me out of the house because there's the loneliness. It gets you out of the house, and of course, also tap dancing. There's something about the sound,
The rhythm.
the rhythm, the sound on the floor is very, very calming. It's like drumming.
Yeah.
So if you go tap dancing on grass, it's not going to do it. You've got to have a hall to tap dance
Yeah,
on.
it's music. It's rudimentary
It's
music.
music.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The beginnings of
exactly.
music, yeah.
So what I do is I go out there and I do that, and then I put it on Moving on TV, and I say, you go out and do it. Let's do it together. I've got a hall. Let's come together. We'll all pay whatever. They've reduced the rate for
please,
me.
guys, if you'd like
Yeah.
to if you like to dance, and if you or you know even if you feel like you can't dance but you've always wanted to dance, go ahead. Laurene will
Come and
show
dance
you.
with me.
Yeah,
It's
Laurene will show
fun.
you, yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's
And it's
so much
accessible,
fun.
so accessible. So
And yeah.
yeah.
I mean, the thing about me and Vlad is we have no money. we have no money. We've worked continuously, but we've worked just to survive, I'd say.
Yeah.
Everything that we earned, we put back into the community.
Exactly.
I think every single penny I've ever earned, I've put back into Moving on TV.
Yeah.
I mean, it costs me, I have to pay for everything, the website.
Yeah.
I have to pay for the editing suite.
Yeah.
I have to pay insurance. There's so many different things
Yeah.
you've got to
And
pay for.
and-
Zoom.
Yeah.
So I never get paid a penny. I've never been paid anything. And every time I get, for encounters, as I said, we have to pay for everything. So we work continuously, but we do what we love. We don't even think about the money. We don't think about it. We just it's like every single day is a gift.
Yeah.
And you have to think, okay, today I'm going to do what I love. Because if not, there's no point me being here.
Yeah.
And so coming back again, we're going to go back now to you. And so you got invited back. Hang on, let's put the camera back on you. Your lovely food and everything.
Please enjoy it.
I'm enjoying the cruise
Yeah,
food.
yeah, you've got a lot.
So they called you back and they invited you back.
Yeah.
So, is there anybody famous in this one that we know?
These are some of them. Some of the actors are young, but they've become famous because of the series.
Yeah.
Nowadays it's
Anyone
you
we know at all?
can, no. I think some of the older actors, but because I'm so not so good with names, you know.
Right.
I have a hard time remembering names, but for all those who are interested, they can go online and just type
Yeah.
in the title. I won't mention it anymore, and they can just find, you know, the previous, you know, about the previous
Okay.
story and the cast and everyone. Yeah, I surely recognized 2 or 3 faces again because they
Okay.
were in the first season, yeah. And
Oh God, charge the
yeah.
battery. Keep going.
so yeah, basically I love the way you, Lauren, you know, show and share with people how it doesn't take a lot. You know, this industry has been twisted for so long, you know, because of the great money, because of the, you know, the only opportunity back then, prior to the internet, there was no way for you to do something and to broadcast yourself, right? Or just to share something like today you can do on all sorts of online platforms, like we're doing now.
Well, we're
You
doing
can have
moving
your
on
own
TV.
TV, yeah, like
Yeah.
moving on TV, and it doesn't take millions and billions of pounds or dollars to do that, you know.
No.
So thank God for the internet. We've been delivered from, you know, the industry, you know.
Yeah.
And of course, we are thankful for the industry, you know, like Hollywood, Bollywood, you name it, because we've, thanks to them, we've had these great films and great opportunities for so many actors. But meanwhile,
There's another side to it,
there is
Vlad, as
another-
you
there
know,
is a
which we
dark-
can't
yeah.
talk about.
Yeah, there is a dark side. And
Mel
people,
Gibson's doing a lot. Bless him.
People know it.
Very
yeah,
brave.
Yeah.
Very
We're
brave.
looking forward to the second part of the Passions of Christ.
Wow.
He made the world explode with this movie. And
He's going to be highlighting everything that's going on that we
Yeah.
can't talk about on
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
And he's also a Trump supporter, so I love him. And he's a good man.
Yeah, he's a good man, and he's gone through his own troubles and fights and battles. But don't we all?
Yeah.
After all, I mean, it's not about whether we have issues and challenges. It's about how we learn to deal with them, and we deal with them in an honorable way, a
Yeah.
way that won't hurt us anymore, and a way that won't hurt anyone else around us. So we're very happy to have you guys with us tonight
Yeah.
at this sweet
With
little
our
time. You know,
food.
this is so informal. I like
Oh,
it so much.
I'm so happy that
Yeah, it's so
it's
friendly.
like sometimes the last, I mean, as you know, I had a terrible experience with moving on TV. I'm not going to mention it. We're still here,
Yeah.
but for the grace of God, I tell you what I think happened there. I had an accident going back maybe 11 years now. I was in the therapeutic community and I got in my car.
Would you switch for your story?
What? So I tell people exactly that sometimes it makes me believe, I do believe there is a God, and I do believe there's something looking after us, and that's why I believe everything's going to be okay. But I had a serious accident, but the weirdest thing, I had an accident, the whole side of my car had gone,
Oh,
and there was glass everywhere,
wow.
but I didn't have a splinter of glass on me.
Wow.
Not a splinter.
Nothing broken?
Nothing.
Wow.
It was like they lifted me out of the car. They must have,
Yeah.
because there was nothing there. I think I had a
Cushioned
tiny...
you, cushioned
Cushioned
you
me.
all.
I got a bit of whiplash
Yeah.
because I was whacked backwards,
Yeah.
but there was glass everywhere. It was literally everywhere.
Like salt.
Yes,
Right? Yeah.
and all I had was a tiny little splinter in my finger.
Wow.
So what I'm saying is, I think what happened to us the other night, which would have wiped me off the planet, something must have taken care of it very quickly. Thank God that we are okay and we're still here. You know, thank God we're still here. So let me put it back to you. So, okay, so let's come back. So there was a lot of really difficult stuff going on, and I needed to see you. I needed to be with you, with your beautiful aura and your love, you and Emmanuel, and you know, you guys, the encounters, guys, there's magic to you guys. There's magic. And in some way, I really want us to carry on doing the Zooms or something. But the problem is, you know, we're all just trying to survive at the moment, and you have to do whatever you can. So coming back again to the series. So, Right, so you've gone back now and you've been doing what, 3 days filming here in
Yeah.
West Wycombe?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about what you've been doing. What did you have to do? So you
Yeah.
don't have lines.
No.
Okay, so what
Yeah,
what were
in
you
this
doing?
case, it's like more like background work, you know. But I keep on saying that I would rather be on set, in the midst of colleagues, you know, professionals like actors and the crew, you know, directors and costume, the costume department. They are great people, lovely people. They do such a great work with these costumes, you know, especially the period costumes. I know that a costume like that would cost a fortune because they are all handmade and and they take such a good care of doing their best, you know, to be professional, to make it look alike, you know, to make it look like the real deal. So I would rather be on set than just going and do something totally, you know, different, you know, like a totally different work, you know. So it was a very interesting choice that I had to make 3 years ago because I was in a full-time. I had a full-time job downtown London. I was a team leader, and so from human perspective, I had it all.
Yeah.
But I was stuck in an office.
And the board
Yeah, and I was bored.
and
you know.
depressed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And the
I know.
interesting thing is that they had to decrease our department. They had to lay off some people, you know, and gradually they closed the entire department.
Right.
So one day they just told me, sorry, you know, we are going to decrease the department and we will close
They
it
did you a
altogether.
favour basically
Yeah,
because
and
you
I
could
was
live
like
your dream.
shocked. But I was already doing this, you know, because I used to do this back in my country. Now and then, you know, I'm a singer as well. I've done
Yeah.
some musicals back in my country, and I've helped in the recording of a few albums, including a friend of mine. And I've been part of church choirs, and I had lots of experience in singing and in acting as well. And so I was left with no other option. I immediately applied for all sorts of jobs because part of my training, I'm a trained social worker. But you know, due to the nature of the social work here, it has, you know, it's not so much about dealing with people, helping people to deal with their issues and problems. It's more about the administrative part, you know, like doing all the papers, you know, and I love to work with people, you know. I'm more on the psychological side of this, you know, being like a counselor, like helping them dealing with issues, with the troubles in life, you know. So I couldn't imagine becoming a what they call it in my country, book rat. You know, like always, you know, writing down reports and stuff like this. So the only option I got were some of the agencies that I've already worked, you know, and they asked me to come for almost an entire week, you know, and to film for almost an entire week. And I said, wow, this will help me pay my rent, you know.
Yeah.
And gradually, little by little, I said, okay, I still have nothing else to do. So I started to apply for more and more jobs, you know. I talked to more experienced, you know, supporting artists and actors, you know, and asking them what's the situation in this country like, and things like this. And this is how I found you on Star Now. This is one of
Yeah.
the beautiful,
Amazing,
one of the
you
beautiful
guys.
platforms here for
Thank God.
for actresses and actors. I'm still part of it, and I'm so thankful because I still can find lots of nice roles. And yeah, so it's as if, you know, it's as if as I was kicked out and said, look, this, you know, you have no other option. This is the only option you have, and I'm so thankful because I love this job. You know, I've
You
always
got
loved
your
it.
dream.
Yeah, I've always loved it. But back in my country, I was like on and off because, you know, life is hard. You can't always make enough money. Being an artist, you know, being an actor or a singer, it's hard. And I had to take care of my family, you know, my daughters and everything. Back then, like a few years before we came to live here in the UK, my elder daughter, she's now 23, she was given such a great opportunity. She was accepted, admitted in the Yehudi Menuhin, famous, world famous
Violinist.
classical music school. She's
Yeah.
a pianist.
Oh, is she really?
Yes, yes.
I didn't know
And
that. You never
she-
told me that when I was looking
Here
for a
we are.
musical
Here we are.
director.
Yeah. She's in Bulgaria. She's going to marry now, but anyway,
Wow.
she's such a talented pianist. She started
Wow.
very small, like 5 years old. Yeah, and every teacher of hers would tell the same thing, you know. And she ended up there in this world top school in the
Wow.
world. She was it's a boarding school. She's been there for 4
That's
years.
in America, isn't it?
No. Here down in
Oh, you're doing it in-
Surrey. In Surrey.
Oh, is it? I thought it was in
Surrey.
America.
Cobham, Surrey.
All right, I'm thinking of Juilliard.
Juilliard is in
Is
America.
in America.
Yeah. This is
Wow.
similar to Juilliard,
Yeah,
but
okay.
it's the British version.
Oh, I never knew that,
And
but I
people from
didn't know
all
that.
over the world, children from all over the world, the most talented ones, they go through a very rigid process of auditioning. You know, they would not take any
Yeah.
child, you know. Those who work hard and are really talented, you know. And we were blessed to have her. And it's a private school, so the tuition was like ridiculous.
How the hell did you manage to pay it? Did you get a scholarship?
Oh,
thank God for
scholarship.
that.
Yeah.
She
and
must be
we were
really
still in
talented.
Bulgaria, and because the Bulgarian salaries and standard of living is so low that we ended up like paying just a few £100, you know, every once in a while, because they would you would pay as according to your ability, which is great. And this was the dream of Yehudi. Do I pronounce it?
Yehudi Menuhin. Yeah, the violinist.
They call it Menuhin, yeah, the great violinist. He's the founder of this school back in the 60s, the 50s, the 60s. Yeah, so his dream has come true. So many children are being supported. Of course,
amazing.
there are children coming from very rich families, like from China, and they totally cover their expenses, you know. But yeah, so anyone who is talented, you know, who's got talented children, go ahead,
But
you know, try.
as long as you can get a scholarship.
Exactly.
So this is the thing.
Yeah.
But that's one of the reasons I created Moving On TV as well, is because I want people, I'm not actually focused on children, I'm focused on adults, because I think there is a lot for children.
Yeah.
There is a lot, and I want to see adults realizing their dreams.
Yeah.
Because a lot of adults, I think the reason we've got so much depression in the world, like when you said to me, like if I worked, I was a social worker. It's always really interesting how we do social work and care work, because actors are very open, their hearts are open, so it's easy for them to work with people and to give. And if you put me into a job, an ordinary job, I'd kill I'd just take my own life. I wouldn't be able to do it if it wasn't involving working with people and being involved. And that's why we like that, you know. We're creative beings, and it's a shame that if the government took it seriously, instead of diagnosing everybody, every left, right and centre with a mental illness, instead of actually looking at them and thinking, I wonder why that person doesn't settle here. I wonder why that person can't do a certain kind of job.
Exactly.
Oh, if we look into that, we'll figure out that they're an artist, they're a dancer, they're a singer, they're a writer, they're a creator of some kind. They may want to be a builder, or they don't want to conform. So we help them.
Yeah.
We
One
help
size
them.
doesn't fit all. That's the truth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we help them. So also, instead of the lottery giving all the money to the big rich companies, they give it to Moving On Theatre.
Yeah.
And they give us the money in order to develop more people like that. Because if it wasn't for my creativity, I wouldn't be here. If it wasn't for the therapeutic community and my creativity, I would be on medication. I would be continuously numb on a huge amount of medication. But because I learned in the therapeutic community what's important, and I was able to let go of a lot of the shock. Like you had a very difficult childhood, and so did I. It was different. I wish my parents had adopted me to someone else. Let's put it that way. I was living with the lunatics. I lived with them, and they were completely mad, and you know, and the things that happened over there. But it stays in your consciousness. And when I went into the therapeutic community, after 10 months of being in there, I faced it, and I had this huge awakening where a lot of it went Not all of it, I'm still working through it,
Yeah.
but the biggest stuff that was holding me back.
Mhm.
And that's in the book, Simply Amazing.
Yeah.
And then I went out there and created theatre and created a TV station. And, you know, then I had more dark nights of the soul when my father died. But what I'm trying to say here is they've got it all wrong. We want a world where everyone is unique.
Yeah.
You can't pigeonhole them.
Yeah.
All of this stuff that's going on now in England, I want to have a space to open a school.
Yeah.
I want to bring us all together, all the awakened families,
Yeah.
and they're all going to be there soon. They're not sending the kids back. There's no way. So you open a school and you teach there. You teach music, dancing, singing, laughter. We bring all our talents together. You teach them how to love themselves, nature, all the consciousness stuff about God without bringing religion into it, because we're all different religions.
Sure.
But what is God? What is this energy that when you can't function, you say, hey, I can't do it, you do it
I
for
need
me,
help, yeah.
because
Yeah.
I'm just me,
Exactly.
you know?
Yeah.
And that's what I want to see. And then you're not going to have wars anymore, because you're going to be happy. You're not going to have to need to go out and hurt another human being.
Yeah.
If you're doing what you love, you all know when we're doing what we love,
Exactly.
you're in heaven.
Yeah.
And
Starting from
you're in
here.
heaven. So
Starting
we're
from
back
here.
again
Yeah.
here in High Wycombe, sitting here having a meal, and you're in heaven at the moment because
Yeah.
you're doing
Heaven
what you
starts-
love,
Heaven starts from
and
High
you're
Wycombe,
even
yeah.
being paid.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
even being paid.
Exactly.
So
Yeah,
tell
that's
us a
the
little
best
bit more about
combination. That's
you.
the best combination.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. This is the thing. Is also actors get used. I mean, again, I'm very humble and I'm prepared to admit when I made mistakes. And before I had my therapy, I didn't know how to. I didn't know how to pay people, so I used people. And maybe it's karma, maybe it comes back, but I did my work. But as soon as I realized, you know, people were vulnerable. I'm not saying I used them, they're adults. But they came from all over the country to be in my shows. And they were getting drunk and they didn't remember their lines. And could be the
wow.
trolls that are on here now, for all I know, that are punishing me. And the whole thing collapsed, obviously. Even I forgot my lines. I forgot my lines because of stress and all sorts of stuff.
overwhelmed,
Everything
yeah.
just completely collapsed. But after I went into the community and I learned how to work with people and how I would never, ever, and as you know, I don't. That's why moving on TV is going nowhere, because I'm not paying anyone and because I'm not prepared to give people anything. I ask people to come and join me so we can get sponsorship together, but only if they want to. But there's a lot of vulnerable people out there, like even me. I used to go all the way to Derby to work. I never got paid a penny. I just did it because I thought it was going to be a step on the ladder. So you've got to be very careful. And I think even those Star Now, they have got a new rule now where you can't bring on performers for free. I think that's really good because they're protecting the actors. And I think it's something like $50 per show or something, which is what I pay anyway. I would never. And that's, it's, you know, but anyway. So what I'm saying is we are hoping that there's going to be a world where children will learn from the time they're born to be happy. And so then they're not going to want wars. They're not going to watch the media. They're not going to believe any of the rubbish because they'll know, they'll be brought up with how to heal your body. They'll be brought up how to heal the mind. They won't need medication. They won't need anything because it will all be inside them. So acting and everything that we do, it's also, kids should learn how to do that because it's so good for their confidence. It develops their self-esteem, and they can have tantrums, they can scream, they can shout. It's amazing being an actor. I miss it. I miss it. And I think that's why I've been having difficult times lately, is because I don't have any way to do what I love, except maybe the dancing, which is helping me a lot. So coming back to you again. So you were talking about the costumes. It's like we're bantering here, and I put a lot in because I want people to get out there and do what they love and come on board Moving on TV with your dreams so we can go out there and get a sponsor. And don't play games with me because, as everybody knows, when you work with Laurene, you work. and you really work. You put we all work.
Yeah.
We all drink water. We all eat almonds and healthy
Exactly.
food, which I always make sure you have.
Yeah.
And we always work, and we have loads of rest. We always have loads of breaks
Enjoy
in between.
nature and
We do everything to
Yeah.
enhance ourselves. We even have a hypnotherapist on board with Martin if we get stressed out, you know. So
Yeah.
everything is provided with Moving On Theatre. But I don't work with people that don't commit and play games,
Yeah.
because it's not good for them and it's not good for me. And I said that years ago. So you are one of the people that when you make a commitment, I mean, if you can't do it, you text me. And anyway, we're living in such turbulent times now that unless you're getting paid, you know, you can't choose to do things that are not being paid.
Yeah.
So come back to what you were saying again. So I'm really happy that you're being paid for this. They're looking after you and you're doing what you love. So you were talking about these amazing costumes. So what are you actually wearing
Yeah.
at the moment?
It's,
What they got you in?
yeah, it's this nice blue color of a jacket. You know, it's cut this way a little bit, like it has this long tail, you know, almost reaching the floor, the ground. And I've got this beautiful waistcoat. Yeah, it's like another kind of a different kind of blue, a different kind of hue, you know, and some yellow. The shirt is gorgeous, you know, with this big sleeves, you know, and with this, I don't know what do you call it, they're like flowers, you know,
Wow.
the ends,
Yeah.
the edges of
When is it set? What century? What part
I think
is
it's the 18th century, 17th, 8th century.
Right, around
Not
the
very
French
good at that.
Revolution time. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Guillotine.
Yeah, and,
Fun and
yeah.
loads of fun.
everything, you know, the trousers, you know, they're this type of trousers that they're very high waist, and you've got like one part that opens up like this, you know, and like
Yeah.
this. Then you have another part. Then you have the braces, what I call
Yeah.
the suspenders, yeah, the braces. And you've got this special, you know, elastic thing that goes underneath the shoes to keep your trousers tight, you
Yeah.
know, to you know, to your shoes, you know.
How long does it take you to get dressed?
It takes a while, and then of course we go to hair and makeup. Then
Yeah.
It will take even longer to curl my hair.
What do they do? What kind of hairstyle are they doing
It's
for you?
like, you know, like a curly hair, so
Yeah.
it can fall like this, you know, on both sides. And when I put the top hat, just a few what they call this, the word for this, locks.
Locks, yeah.
Locks will show up, you know.
Claire, she was in the original Encounters, and she's actually a makeup artist.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
not
yeah.
maybe she's on it. Claire Davies.
All right.
She does a lot of makeup,
Okay.
and she did my wig for Piaf.
But is she working for productions?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. She used to work
Oh.
for the BBC.
Okay.
Um,
If
doing
you
all
get
the
in contact with her,
costumes.
please ask her.
Yeah.
Where is she now? And if
I
you
know
can-
she lives in Hampshire,
Yeah. And,
which isn't very far,
and
so
who
she could be involved
she
with
works
it.
with, because we might end up meeting someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll be
ask
happy.
Claire Davies, I think she
Claire
calls
Davies.
herself,
Okay.
and she was with us. She did Sharon
All right.
when we did the. Remember the big gathering? You just turned up at the end.
Yeah,
Remember
yeah,
when you
yeah.
all sat down?
Yeah.
Well, not at the end, but nearer the end.
Yeah.
I have that on footage with you walking in dressed like a soldier.
Yeah. I'll never forget
Oh,
this,
that was
right?
one of the happiest
Yeah.
days of my life. I think Encounters was such a good time because we had money, Vlad.
Yeah. Claire Davies.
Claire
right?
Davies,
Hair and
yeah.
makeup.
Whenever you have money and you're doing a proper production, it flows.
Yeah.
There's no fighting, there's no stress. When you're working and you're doing it without any money, without any kind of money, without any way of yeah, when it's stress, and then everybody's stressed because it all falls apart. That's my experience.
Yeah.
When there's money, everything just flows easily, unless you have a massive production like I did with The Sound of Music, where we sold out every single seat.
Yeah.
And we had, you know, everybody got paid, all the crew got paid, and all the other people were just doing it for fun. It was an amateur production. But, you know, with Moving On Theatre, or when we did Edinburgh, we all got paid, everyone, I paid everyone, because we sold out every single show.
Yeah.
So it's when the money is not there, that's when the stress comes in. Then people start picking on each other, and it doesn't work.
You know,
It just
or
doesn't
in
work.
the best, you know, in the best version of it, they just find another job or other things
Yeah.
to do in order
They let
to,
you down,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
not on purpose, but
Yeah.
like the beautiful thing was every time, because we got all those grants from the government to combat loneliness and depression, and we were able to do those huge workshops.
Yeah.
I loved it when people would invoice me, and there you go, you get paid.
Yeah.
It was such a good feeling,
Yeah.
you know. Anyway, hopefully it'll come back at some point. I
Of
have to
course.
trust.
Of course.
But so carry on. So you've
Yeah.
got these incredible costumes,
Yeah.
and you've got
And
these
hair,
incredible
makeup,
hair and
yeah.
makeup,
Yeah, especially,
right?
and you should see the ladies, you know, of course, when you go back and see the first season, you know what I'm talking about. But you know, it's so nice and good to see it from within, you know, to see the kitchen of this industry, you know, how beautiful it is, how many nice things, you know, and the people, all the crew, the runners, from the runners to the ADs, to the cameraman, to the light, you know, the light people,
Yeah.
and what they
The
call that?
tech.
The tech, yeah. And so all these professionals, you know, it's so great, and so many of them are so young, you know, some of them are like 22, 25, you know, of course maybe some of the ADs are maybe more like apprentices, you know.
Well, Jacob,
Yeah.
sorry, Jacob was 14
Oh wow.
when he
Yeah.
went to Edinburgh.
Oh.
His mum gave him, you know, basically we took him to Edinburgh, and we became his surrogate parents.
Oh, wow.
And he did the whole show.
Wow.
And he started moving on TV. 14 years old.
Wow, he's
He's
so
now
talented.
22, and he's running, thanks
Is
to
that
me.
the tall guy?
No, he was only little guy.
Oh, okay.
He's the
Okay,
tall
because
guy.
I remember there's the one guy in one of your old videos who do the dancing and maybe even some ballet dancing with one girl from the, you know, back in time, like the
Oh,
the
you mean the
90s.
beginning of Encounters?
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
he
no.
wasn't even born.
Okay.
No, but Jacob has got his own company. He's really well off now, thanks
What kind-
to
what
I
kind of-
gave him
what
his
kind of
first.
company?
He runs his own. He makes websites and editing and stuff. He's incredibly talented.
Yeah,
But I
can
gave
tell.
him his. I took him to Edinburgh, and that is huge for a
Wow.
14-year-old.
Of course.
He
of
did the
course.
whole thing.
Yeah.
And then he started moving on TV in 2015
Yeah.
because he's incredibly talented. So
Yeah.
you get these kids, they start very young, but then
Exactly.
that's good.
Yeah, that
It
reminds
gives
me-
them a
That
career.
reminds me of my daughters, you know, like the one with the piano and the other one singing. They both did the piano, but
Yeah.
my younger one, you know, her name, by the way, is Avia or Abia. This is a Jewish name, a Hebrew name.
Avia.
Avia, yeah, or Abia.
Abia,
yeah,
Abba, like Abba.
Yeah, and it means God
Abia.
is my father. Abba.
Abi, yeah.
Yahweh.
Yes.
Abba Yahweh. God is my
Okay.
father. So she was only, let me think, 7 years old when she went to Moscow in Russia on a competition. She was chosen from so many children in Bulgaria to go and represent Bulgaria singing.
Oh,
You
so
know?
one of your daughters is a singer and the other's a piano player.
They both play the piano.
Wow.
But the younger one is better in singing, and the
Yeah.
older one is better in playing. So
Oh, I didn't
they
know
both
that.
sing, and
Okay.
they both play the piano. I'll.
You
give
need to get them
I'll-
on moving on TV.
I'll give you the. You know, I'll try to give you the Instagram, the way you can see
Oh,
some of the
sorry.
stuff.
I was just, she can't play Amy, not with her dad. But you don't look it, I mean, you know, you're so young looking.
Yeah.
You're so young. Anyway, don't say your age. You don't have
No,
to. But you,
no.
you know, that's why you got the part of Nick.
Yeah.
Is because you are so young
Yeah,
looking.
and when I apply, you know, I always, because they always ask you, you know, as a professional, what's your acting age?
Yes.
What's your real age and what's your acting age?
Yeah.
And of course, I go like 20 years back, you know,
Yeah.
in time.
Yeah. Easy.
And
Easy.
yeah, it's easy. Yeah.
It's easy.
It's easy, and
So
thank God I've done nothing about it. You know, it's just you know, my birth mother, my real mother, she was a very youthful person, very young looking one, and they would keep on telling her every time. I remember, oh, you look so much younger, you know. And my dad as well, you know, who unfortunately never, you know, we just met a few times, but then he disappeared again.
Yeah.
So he was like never in my life. But I'm fine because I've got my Abba Father,
You've got God.
my God, our Father in heaven, right? You've got it, I've got it. You know, you've experienced this awful experience with your dad dying almost in your hands, and me, you know, with my So, but we're happy that we're not alone. We've never been alone.
Well, I'm starting to. It's 8 months since I've been dealing with this. You know what? That I've got to. You know what? Which I want to say on here, and I'm not scared like I used to be. You know, when we talked about it today, because it's getting closer.
Yeah.
But that's strange. Why is it not charging? So yeah, because I come back. My background is all. I'm just going to check a second if. Yeah, my background is my grandparents. My grandfather was a violinist and an accordionist from Russia,
Lovely.
and his wife Leah, who I'm named after, Leah.
Yeah.
She was a piano player,
Wow.
and they used to go. They ran away together. They were cousins, and they were completely cut off from the family. They lost everything. It's weird how patterns seem to repeat themselves because they loved each other, but I think they were cousins, so they weren't allowed to marry, but they did, and they came to Ireland, and they used to tour, performing, to survive. And my grandmother, unfortunately, she died having my dad. So she's only about 23 or 24, really young.
Oh, wow.
But I remember my grandfather in Ireland, me and my sister, we used to go, and he'd play the violin and the accordion, and we'd dance, and you know, that the whole culture.
Yeah.
And my dad used to do tap dancing in the army, and he used to do drumming.
Yeah.
He used to play the drums and tap dance. So
That
music,
reminds me, you know, when you said
maybe
he
that's
was a
where the tap
violinist,
dancing comes from.
and that he was a violinist, you know, that reminds me of Fiddler on the Roof.
Fiddler on the Roof.
My favorite,
Yes.
one of my favorite
Yes,
musicals.
yeah.
Oh, if
I would
wanna
love
be a
to
rich
do.
man.
Oh my God.
La, da, 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 da. I love
Do you know
this
what,
song.
Luke?
My kids love it.
Luke
too.
would make a great Tevye.
Exactly.
You could do Mottle or
Okay.
something like that. Luke would be a great Tevye. Even looks like him.
Yeah.
And Martin and Emmanuel could be
Yeah.
the other suitors.
Exactly.
And then we could bring it. You know, it's like I'd love to do a big musical and direct it. I played Golda. I played. Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah.
But anyway, coming back again.
Yeah.
So you come in, you get your costume done, you get your hair done, and then you are doing the supporting. So what are you doing all through the day now? What do you actually do?
Different scenes, you know, and you know, that's the idea of being a supporting artist, or you know, that you support the main or the lead actors. You know, like for example, if they are in a park and this park is supposed to be inhabited, you know, like there are people who are just promenading or having fun, families, children. Someone is on the boat, you know, rowing, and other one is having other people are having picnic or something like that. So it could be as simple as that.
Yeah.
And of course, there are moments where if you are chosen for the certain, you know, moment that you might interact with some of the lead actors. You know, I'm talking about the extra work, and if you're a supporting artist, you know, and. Yeah, all these things that we so many times in this celebrity culture that has gone too far, like almost worshipping, you know, normal human beings just like you and I. Yeah, it went crazy. It's too much, you know. people, the normal people, the everyday people, you know, that you almost never recognize or pay attention to when you watch the screen, when
Yeah.
you watch anything. But these are very important because without them, it's like it's gonna be like a ghost film, you know, just
Yeah.
one actor. It doesn't matter how great he or
Yeah.
she is, but if they're just alone, it's gonna be like a weird
Yeah.
thing, you know.
And you
But
should get paid more money as well, and they should
Exactly.
get less
exactly.
because it's
Yeah,
all
'cause it's
part
gonna
of
be
the same
balanced,
thing.
yeah,
There's
it's gonna
no
be
balance.
balanced, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, you know, so many of these A-list stars, you know, like Jude Law, for example, I've got such a nice experience with him. He was so kind to me, you know, and I was doing just supporting artists. Yeah, I had this role, you know, like being the chief of the restaurant, you know, the chief of the waiters, you know.
Yeah.
There's
Maitre d'.
maitre d', yeah, it's a French, this French term.
The maitre d'.
Yeah, it's so I was filmed in the Nest, and you can actually see me right next to Jude Law and Carrie Coon. It's on my Instagram as well. This
Yeah, I
one
think
was-
I've seen
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So
Don't know why
there's
this
some,
isn't
you know,
charging.
many of the actors are actually like very humble and real people, and they have not forgotten where they come from. You know, of course,
Yeah.
there's some more arrogant and stuff like this, but I haven't met people like that. You know,
So,
honestly.
oh, hang on, sorry,
So,
no, I don't want to cancel it. I just want to check
mhm.
what's going on with the battery
Yeah.
again. Does your character have a name?
Not in this.
Not in this
yeah,
one,
'cause I'm
right.
Not, you know,
You
I'm
don't
not really
actually
an
have a
actor.
name.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But and in this case, you can be anyone, anybody, depending on what they would need. You know, depending on your outlook, and of course, if they want to do something more featured, you know, with you, they know your story. You know, the agency know that I'm an active actor, so they know they can count on me
Exactly.
anytime. You know, even though I
Yeah.
have applied just as a background artist, or you know, they still know that they can count on me, and they will pay me extra money
Yeah.
if I get featured, or you have to say a line or do something specific, you know. But with this kind of work, I'm happy because I know my work, I know my what is expected from me, you know, and I'm happy with that.
Brilliant.
But of course, you know, my dreams and you know, I'm so thankful to God, you know, to these wonderful people and creators who will give me the opportunity to do some roles, you know, some proper acting roles. I'm so grateful because this keeps me moving on.
Yes,
You know, because
exactly.
we always aspire for more. You know, I can't imagine a singer just being happy to sing just in his house, or maybe just.
Well, that's why I'm
in front of-
frustrated. You know.
Yeah, but you sing before you sing. You
Well,
got
I
your
have
audience
done.
on
Yeah, I
moving on
have
TV.
done a lot.
Yeah, and you've
I
done
have
like
done a lot.
a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm just saying, you know, so many people quietly, you know, they sing maybe under the shower, and they never dare to come out. They never dare to promote themselves. They never dare to go and apply and try. They always think, oh, you know, there's so many great singers, but who knows, you might be the next Frank Sinatra, or you might be the next Edith Piaf. Who
Yes,
knows?
Edith Piaf.
Why don't go, or why don't
Yeah.
you try? You know, this is all about, and
Yeah.
this is actually
Yeah.
part of our mission, and these are our hearts, because we both with Laurene, we started from humble beginnings, very humble beginnings. We had just this raw talent, you know, it's like a raw gold, you know, given to us by our creator. And he told us, okay, it's your opportunity and your responsibility whether you're going to refine this piece of gold in the furnace of life, or you will just be the lazy guy who doesn't pay a lot of attention, who always find an excuse, or who is just afraid not to make a mistake,
Yeah.
or maybe being rejected
I
by
won't
someone.
do it if they don't get paid enough, or
Exactly.
they don't understand that you
Yeah.
need to grow.
Exactly.
That's
And-
the only way to do it.
Exactly.
Either
Don't
you
get me
grow,
wrong. Yeah.
and hopefully by the time you get to a level, and you will,
Yeah.
please God, there won't be any of the sick that people do need to go through that
Exactly.
stage, as we know,
Exactly.
in order to get really high up. They
Yeah.
have to go through something which
Yeah.
we're annihilating from the world. But I think it is very, very difficult at the moment if you're very creative like you or me, it's very easy to get depressed. It's very easy to give up.
So true.
And you have to go all the way back to the basics. When you talk about moving on, like moving on TV, moving on theatre, again, you could look at this like we met up New Year's Eve. Remember, I can't believe it. It's 8 months since I've seen you.
It feels like years.
It's crazy. And I had all these plans to do, but I couldn't because of the way the world is. So you have to go back a bit, and you have to go back, and you can only do what you can do. You know, if there's no way of getting money, if there's no way of getting grants at the moment, if there's no way of working because the world is totally insane the way it is at the moment, you have to get up in the morning and say, okay, what can I do? And to me, that might just be getting a hall for 2 hours and dancing, or singing in a hall to a camera, and maybe 1 or 2 people might watch it and moving on TV, but it makes you feel that you're alive. You know, so you've got to do something with your creativity. Something, even if you don't get paid. You always have to take the money thing out of the equation if you're a creative being, unless you're really lucky or not lucky to be born into one of those families now. I wouldn't want anything to do with it. If you were, you know, then we know what that happens there. But there are so many incredibly talented people out there. And, you know, I think that I suppose the regret I have is if I knew what I knew now, when I was in my 20s or 30s, my life would have been completely different, because all I wanted was to be a star. That was it. I was on the stage from the time I was 6, like you. I was performing. From the age of 13, I was performing in front of huge auditoriums with orchestras.
School would
not school. I'm talking about the president.
Oh, wow.
I was performing like literally the Children's National Choir as a soloist. So how can you not aspire to want to be a star? So in your 20s and your 30s, you won't do amateur shows. I could have done every single part if I had had the humility then. Now I have it, but now they won't give it to me because I'm too old. So I have to create my own. I create my own. But when you try to create your own, then you come up against the usual issues, which is theatres don't really care about you, as you know, unless you're famous. They will take your money, but they won't do anything for you, as we know. I'm hoping that's going to change at some point, where you do box office splits, where you split the money between you. So you have a venue, great, I'll give you half of the ticket sales. We work together. Everything to me is about not competing anymore. It's like a partnership. Well, because if you'd met me in my 20s or 30s, there's no way I'd interview you, because I'd be jealous. I'd be jealous.
Honest. You're so honest.
I have to be.
This is so good for you.
I have to be honest. I have to say to everyone on here, if you are young and you're talented, and there are people I'm talking to, they will not come on because I can't pay them. Or they will not come on because they want to be famous. Oh, nobody's watching. If someone's watching, you'll go on. Well, I've got news for you, darling. You won't get anywhere. You won't get anywhere because there's billions and billions of talented people out there. And if I'm showing my face here. I don't really care if you don't look at it. It's up to you. But I'm saying to you now, unless you have the luck of the whatever, and that's not luck, that's because you have to jump through certain hoops and lose something in order to get there. Unless you are very, very, very lucky and you belong to one of those families, like the Redgraves, or, you know, like generational, or unless your parent is a very famous producer like Lily Allen, her father is a famous actor. Unless you are that, you will get nowhere. And this is us talking, this is me, I'm talking with a lot of years of experience from the age of 6 on the stage, because I refused to go the way they wanted me. You know, my dad took me to an agent when I was 17. I was already performing
remember.
everywhere,
remember
and I
this.
was so good. I was performing as an opera singer at the
Yeah.
age of 15,
Yeah.
16. And dad took me to an agent, and the agent said to me, Lauren, if you go with me, you're going to have to go to parties, you're going to have to mix with them, you're going to have to wear wigs, and you're going to have to be different. And I just said to dad, no.
Yeah.
I felt
Yeah.
it. It was like, no.
I was very
And that was the end of my
impressed with
career.
your story.
That was the end of
I
my
know,
career.
I know, and thank God. Thank God.
Thank
because you
God,
haven't
because I
sold-
would have been the next Amy Winehouse.
and you would have sold your soul.
I would have
to the
sold my
devil.
soul.
Yeah.
So now I've come back.
Yeah.
I never left.
Exactly.
To do it the right way.
Yeah.
And if I'm meant to do it,
Yeah.
then that'll be great. If not, Vlad's doing it for me. He's the one who's getting famous. You know, another thing I've learned in my long time on this planet is that when you help somebody else realize their dreams, then your dream comes true at the same time.
Exactly.
Isn't that true?
So true. So true. Yeah. It's like you know, this truth about parents, you know, who would not be able to have children for a long time, and suddenly they decide, okay, we are going to save another child.
Yeah.
That's
They
already
adopt.
that's already born, that's already
Like
there,
you.
and probably suffering. You know, they would adopt a child, and within 1 year, up to 2 years, God will give them their own child. I know personally families like
Not
this,
in
you
this
know,
country.
that they've been waiting for years. They've been trying. You know, the moment they decided to give a helping hand to adopt another child, 1 year later, the woman was pregnant.
Yeah.
As if
weird, isn't it?
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Everything.
So it's the same law.
Yeah.
It's the same principle.
Yeah.
That acts. You know.
It's because I'm not upset anymore about what other people are doing with their life. I'm not jealous anymore because I don't want your life.
Yeah.
I want my life now
Yeah.
because I can just about cope with it. I don't want anybody else's life.
Yeah.
I definitely don't want some rich person's life because I want what I've got to deal with.
Yeah.
And yes, it's bloody hard and sometimes it tears my heart out to be in this world. But I'm starting to realize more and more that you're only given what you can deal with.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to trust so much. You know, when you talk about adoption, 6 years ago, before Dad died, me and Martin were going through a process to adopt, and it didn't work out. They didn't like my beliefs. They didn't like the Buddhism. They didn't like any.
It's a shame.
No, it's not. It's good, because if I'd adopted,
Yeah.
now.
But you know what I mean. It's a shame that the you know, the government, the authorities would stop a person because of his religious beliefs. You know.
Oh yeah.
Actually, this is
because
even
of Buddhism.
better.
They didn't want anything to do with it. But it
This
doesn't
is
matter,
even
Vlad.
better.
No,
Yeah,
no.
in
But
your
what
case,
I'm
it doesn't matter.
saying,
Yeah, but
that spirit.
I don't want to discourage the
No,
rest of the
no,
people.
no.
You know, you're never allowed to be discriminated.
Yeah,
you know,
well,
on
they.
religious basis,
Yeah,
on basis of your beliefs.
They didn't
never.
like any of my beliefs. They didn't like anything that I had learned in the therapeutic community about how to heal, how to deal with people
pain.
without medication. They didn't like any of it.
Oh,
Someone's
wow.
given me
It's
a
a
like.
shame.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm grateful now because can you imagine if we'd adopted, they would have taken my child away from me to do what they're going to be doing to children, as we know, which is all going to blow up. Because I'd be in prison now. I would have snatched my kid and run a mile. No one would touch mine. No one would come near my kids.
Yeah.
Or who's that? Somebody gave me a like, so thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
But I am
They're
very,
nice
very
people.
grateful
Nice
now
people.
that they didn't let me adopt, because I was looking forward to it. I thought that kid would have so much fun.
Yeah.
They could do theatre, they could do tech if they wanted. We were going to go to Amravati and do Buddhist retreats. I was going to teach them how to love nature and to have fun and laugh. And I was going to do everything. Everything that I didn't have as a child, I was going to give them. But they had a ready-made theatre company. So the chances are God would have given me a child. And not that, a child that was abused. And of course, because I went through it, doesn't scare me
So
to
you will
hold a
give them
child.
a different type of child.
Me.
this autistic child. This,
Which autistic child? Me.
yeah, you and
To bring me
yeah,
up.
and he gave you this spiritual child of yours. You know what you've done with moving on theatre. These are your children.
You're my family. This
Yeah,
is my
the
family.
People, the people who
Yeah. And the Starseeds,
yeah,
amazing
yeah.
people that are around now.
yeah,
But I'm here to try and teach people like you. You were so lucky. Look, my parents were not bad people. They were just made a lot of mistakes
yeah,
because they were very poor and they did their best. They
of
went
course.
to work and I walked the streets as a child because they needed to work and put food on the table.
Yeah,
They trusted like I do. You see, that's it.
yeah,
Innocence.
yeah.
You have to be so careful. My parents were very, very innocent people, and they did their best.
Yeah.
Like, you know, but if they had known what we know now, then, you know, I wouldn't have got hurt as much. But what I'm saying is the adoption process that me and Martin went through, it was disgusting. And all the parents, I mean, I have a friend who's very, very well off.
Yeah.
She's got everything. She does all this work with animals. They wouldn't let her adopt either.
Oh wow, really?
I don't know why.
Why in the
Well,
world
we know
would they
why
do
now.
that?
We
Yeah.
know why. We know
Yeah.
because the children are needed for something else, unfortunately. But that's what we're ending. You see, in the days when you were adopted, thank God things were different. Everything got taken over by
Yeah.
something very, very sick. But you know, it broke my heart because Martin and I we really wanted to do it. It was an exciting, happy time, and all our friends were pushing us to adopt
Yeah.
because we
They
were.
would cheer you
That
up.
was after I came out of the
Cheer you up.
community. I was in, and I was strong. I was peaceful, and
Yeah.
but anyway, now I can see God's wisdom. What you want, like I'm saying here to these young people that are watching. Again, I'll put the camera on me because you need to see when I'm saying this. It's getting dark in here. Is there a light? As I said, if anybody watched the way we filmed, they'd have a fit because we don't have a red light. We don't have like nobody's allowed in. Right.
All right. I think.
What was I going to say? You will be given what you need. Not what you want, but what you need, okay? There is something that runs this world, and you will be given what you need. So if I wanted to do this, Laurene wanted to do this, and I thought this was going to be the best thing for me, because I always wanted to have a family. I always wanted to be part of communities and to work together with people, to bring up your kids together, a bit like, I suppose that's my upbringing from Israel, because you're such a great community. One of the best,
kibbutz,
the kibbutz,
yeah.
exactly. Where all the kids are brought up together, and it's so much fun
Yeah.
because you can all trust
Yeah.
each other.
It takes a village to raise a child.
It takes
right?
a village to raise a child.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do that, and I wanted to teach, to be part of a community where we could all work together. And it was incredible. I was so happy. I'll never forget when they said, "Wow, we're going to take you on," and Martin and I were like, "Wow, we're going to be parents," and it was really, really powerful. And then, as I say, the process was just unbelievable. They were cruel.
Humiliating.
They were humiliating and cruel. And in
can't
the end,
believe it in
it
a
was like,
country.
just get out. I
In a
literally, I kicked them out.
democratic
I kicked them
country,
out.
can't believe
I
it.
literally kicked them out.
Yeah, of course.
Because they were so disgusting. They were talking to
Were
me and
they
Martin like
social work?
social workers.
Oh,
Yeah,
goodness
yeah.
sake.
They were disgusting. One of the reasons was that I didn't tell them about an abusive relationship where he did something, and I didn't want to talk about him. I wanted him out of my life. That was like before I met Martin. Oh my God, it's encounters.
Yeah.
I didn't want them to know about it. So they said, "You lied." I said, "No, I didn't lie. I'm telling you face to face
Yeah.
what happened to me, but I'm not telling you on paper.
Yeah.
I'm not giving you that to, I'll sit down with you and I'll explain."
Yeah.
And they said, "You lied." And that's one of the reasons. And I thought, yeah, right.
Oh, wow.
So, but the beauty of it was, and what I'm saying to you here, is there is a God, and I'm not talking about a religious God, there is spirit, there is something that knows better than you and me. If it had put me on the stage at 17 years old with that agent, I would have been dead now. I would have been Amy Winehouse. I would have been completely mutilated with drugs, the same way as they use Piaf, same way as they use every single Britney Spears, all of
and
them.
Elvis Presley.
Well,
yeah.
well, he's still alive, by the way. You know what I mean? But the way they use all these children, these young teenagers, I was 17.
Yeah.
17 is a very, very, you know,
Yeah,
you're not
yeah,
an adult
yeah.
yet.
Yeah,
They can
we all
still,
know the song,
they can still
the
do.
ABBA song. You know, the Dancing Queen.
Yeah,
she's only 17.
they're always 17,
Dancing Queen,
and 17 is
young
always
dancing
you're not an
waltz,
adult and you're not a child. You know,
Yeah.
you go in the army when you're 18 in
Yeah.
Israel. You don't
Yeah.
go when you're 17. You're still protected,
Yeah.
but they can still do things because you're not an adult yet.
Mm.
So I would have been Amy Winehouse. My dad had to go to work. He couldn't have kept an eye on me.
Yeah.
I was very vulnerable.
Yeah.
So everything that happened to me, I'm grateful for. And if I had adopted, if they took my kid now, God, I'd be locked up. I'd be screaming the house down. I'd be on every medication. I'd be dead. So Spirit knew that. Spirit knew they couldn't give me a child because they knew what was coming. And so now I trust. I have loads of incidents like that. So when you get to, so that's why I'm saying to you, if you want a career, you may not get it. Not like, if you don't work like Vlad, you won't get it. You have to work yourself up, but by holding on to your morals and holding on to your principles,
Exactly.
because the world is changing in such a way that you will get it if you hold on to your principles. And if not, then just go out there and create your own theatre company, because if you're young, you'll get the funding. There's always funding for young people. And that's one of the reasons I never got the funding enough to make, I did get the funding, but then boom, they shut it all down and took it all away when we got the, you know what, which we, you know. So anyway, we're here to teach you. We're here to teach you that also, I'm not obsessed about being on the stage. I'm not obsessed about being a singer. I love it. I'm definitely don't want to be famous. I have absolutely no ambition to be famous because you know what that means. I want to be good at what I do, and it's taken me my whole life to get there, Vlad. If to be famous and a celebrity, I mean, I already get people obsessed with me and contacting me all the time, and I'm not, and I'm just on moving on TV. Can you imagine not having any privacy? And not only that, jumping through hoops for that lot? Never. So you need to learn from me. I've been here a long time. I've been here 5 million years as a starseed. But I've been here a long time as Laurene, and you can learn from my life story. You should really read Simply Amazing Chapter 8, because it might teach you something. Why? Why did Casey put me in the book? Because you didn't have a pity party. He said Laurene, when she was in a wheelchair, she went out there and she tried to help others with her talents and trying to, because I learned how to edit myself. I brought on people, I sang the whole show of Piaf on Facebook in a wheelchair. That's why you put me in this book. Nothing to do with money. You keep going on here. Somebody keeps putting on here that I need money or I want to be rich. I don't want to. If I was rich, there'd be no homeless. If I was rich, Vlad would have a house. I would have a house. Anybody who's on here who doesn't have a house would have a house. Because that's what I do. I share. So you don't know me. You don't know me. So let me put you back to Vlad again. Very quickly. So
I would love to find a copy of this book.
Simply amazing.
Because of you.
Have I not given it to you? I've got loads of them. They're just lying there.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Chapter 8.
Okay.
Where we talk about my amazing recovery. And do you know why that recovery happened? Because I went through such a crucifixion. I mean, without talking about religion, I was bullied continuously, tough love, without physical bullying. I mean, I would run around without shoes and they'd bully me. Everything. They put me on a silent day, Vlad, because they said I talk too much. But the thing is, they bullied me on the silent day. And then people started to think, well, that's strange. Why are you bullying Laurene? She's not even saying anything. So, you know, so I learned, and I came to a point in my life in the therapeutic community where I felt like a 10-year-old child that was being bullied and abused. And one day they tried to get rid of me and I didn't understand it anymore because I wasn't doing anything wrong. I just couldn't settle with them. I couldn't. I was different. I had a different background. One day they actually sat down and they said, you have to treat Laurene with respect because she comes from a different culture where they can run around without shoes and stuff like that. You wouldn't believe what goes on in this country, the amount of bullying. And they were scared because they thought that they would get in the press. I could have taken them to the cleaners, the staff. So they sat everyone down and said, stop bullying Laurene. But then that day, I remember, I'll never forget, it's in the book, and that was my big awakening. They tried to throw me out of the community 4 times because I couldn't conform and be what they wanted me to be. So I went home that night, and I remember I fell asleep and I had a night terror. And when I woke up, I grabbed hold of Martin's hand, said, don't let me go back. And that was it. That was my memory recall when I said to my mum and dad, don't let me go back to the man that's abusing me. And it was like, boom. I tell everyone, I don't care. Hang on, where's me? I should be looking at me when I'm saying this. Because I have absolutely I'm totally humble when it comes to my life story. My life story is in a book, and I'm very, very grateful for what happened to me. I can't get rid of the comments. Very, very grateful for what happened to me, because if I hadn't had what happened to me, if they hadn't bullied me, I would never have had that awakening, because I felt like a 10-year-old child after nearly a year in the community. And that was it. That was it. The minute I got that realization that I was not guilty, it wasn't me, it was my parents were stupid because they sent me back continuously to the man who was molesting me because they didn't listen to me, they didn't believe me. But the minute the child inside me realized that wasn't my fault,
you should.
I was in total peace. And it never that bit never changed. Other things have changed, and I'm working on them now, but that went completely. The guilt of a child thinking it was their fault. And so no child is ever to blame for being hurt in any way by an adult. That is to do with adults. And as I said, I'm here to teach, and people need to read my story because it's very enlightening. And
say the title of the book again.
Simply Amazing, Chapter 8.
So,
I have a program. Someone interviewed me about it.
It sounds like Amazing Grace. Simply Amazing
well,
Grace.
it's got 8 stories, 11 stories. It's Chicken Soup for the Soul. It's got 11 stories.
I love Chicken Soup for the Soul.
11 enlightening. There's a man who was in the Holocaust. How the hell he survived? He's in his 90s.
What's the author's name again?
Casey Armstrong.
Oh
yeah, I'll post you. I mean, I've got loads of them lying in the shed. People should be reading it and learning. And that's why I do Moving On TV, because I want you to understand how I don't need medication. People don't believe me. They don't. I know they don't. They say, oh, surely you take drugs or something. I take nothing.
Especially in
I don't drink alcohol or nothing.
In a country where people are so used to all sorts of medicines, they take them for whatnot.
I take nothing. Even when my leg went 2 weeks ago because I did too much dancing, nothing. I healed it all myself, with God, with love. To me, we all have that capacity. Like, I'll go back to you, but when Jesus, with that, as I say, I love the teachings of Jesus. I believe in the teachings of Jesus. When Jesus looked at someone, all they saw was their potential. And all I see, again, I'm putting me here, all I see is your potential. I never see you at your lowest. I see you at your highest. And I always say to you, and I always forgive, always, always forgive. I just won't let people mess me around and disrespect me, because God isn't like that. Jesus didn't. Jesus was very innocent. Maybe too innocent in these days. There's a lot, and I'm too innocent because I let people onto Moving On TV that nearly annihilated us the other night.
And yet he would not allow people to just go beyond the certain boundaries.
No, he broke the temples. He broke he broke it all up.
He whipped the tables of the merchants in the temple because they were there to make money, not to help people to get closer
Exactly.
to God and to get closer to themselves,
Exactly.
to understand who they really are and what it's all about.
And it
when
kind
you
of,
were
sorry,
saying
yeah.
about the healing, you know, the power of healing and how God helped you and has
It's still
has helped you, you
helping
know.
all the
Yeah,
time.
I will never forget, you know, when Jesus would go and just touch people, or even they would go and just touch the end, you know, the ends of his skirts, the skirt of his robe, right? Just a touch. There was
Yeah.
this woman who's been ill for 30 years. She's got this bleeding, you know. All the doctors, she spent all of her money, all of her, you know, living for doctors. They couldn't help her, and only a touch to Jesus's clothing, you know, that was enough, and she
Yeah.
was healed. And Jesus turned and said, "Who has touched me?" But the crowds were around him, and people said, how can you say who has touched you? All these people are pressing you. Hundreds of people touch you. No, there is someone who touched me, because I felt like the power, some power went out of me to someone.
Right.
Yeah, and this was the moment the woman got perfect healing, you know. And when you touch the part that hurts you, you know, any part of your body, and you pray and you say, "Thank you, God, thank you, Jesus, you died for me. You took this pain away on the cross. You just nailed it on the cross." You know, this is what the laying of hands, the teaching, you know, of laying of hands, both in the Judaism and as well as in Christianity.
And
It's
spirituality.
all about, you lay your hand on your sick part.
Yes.
Yeah, and you just say, "Thank you, God, I'm healed. Thank you, you died
Well,
for
a
me."
mother,
Yeah.
a loving mother will put, if you're in pain, she'll
Yeah.
put her
Let me
hands,
kiss it. Let me kiss
and
it.
it gets better.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of it is also to do
Yeah.
with the mind, but it's just energy.
Yeah.
But let me say this here. I have the skin of a rhinoceros. You know, when I was in the therapeutic community, everybody said it. I would have, not one of you idiots that come on here, not all of you, but the ones are idiots that come on here that have no respect for themselves or others, not one of you would have lasted one day in the therapeutic community. You would have run a mile. They would have been out that door. Me, I lasted 2 years. Not only did I last 2 years, but I became an elder.
better
And when I was going, they all stood up and applauded me. And I am a success story because I never touch medication, thanks to that. And I always learn how to heal what I need to heal. And if I can't, then I say I can't, and I go to bed and I rest. And if I'm not meant to heal, then I'll leave the planet.
Yeah.
Because that's how I feel now. So do whatever you're doing. Every time you do something like what they did the other day, even if you got rid of Moving on TV, I've got 3 backup channels.
Yeah.
So it will hurt, but I'll come back again with another backup channel.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say to you here is there's no point trying to bully me. Read my book. Read what I dealt with in the therapeutic community for nearly a year of continuous bullying and tough love. Apart from beating me up, you know what? Because I'm so innocent, this woman came in one day and she looked absolutely gorgeous. And I said, "God, you look amazing." And she screamed at me and she said, "I'll tear your head off. Why are you saying that? You're trying to hurt me."
Oh, wow.
I'm not kidding you.
poor
Every
woman, poor
time I
woman.
tried to do something nice, like I was the patron of a women's center,
Yeah.
and I'm proud of this. I was a patron of a women's center and I had a song. So I created a CD and said, "Sell the song and we'll split it 50-50. And then they told me they had no fridges. So I came in one day and I said to the therapeutic community, they can have all the money so the women can buy the fridges. Forget about me. And they said I was boasting.
Oh, wow.
Everything I said. And then someone sat down and said, "Nah, don't take any notice of them. Well done. You deserve to be happy, Laurene." And if I walked around singing, oh my God, they annihilated me because I was happy. So the same kind of people are coming on here. They're coming on here. The world is now one big therapeutic community.
Yeah.
And the only way, as we said, as actors, is you use the techniques and you detach and you look at the mess, go within it and do your shopping. If you can only go and do your shopping and go home, then do it, because that's all I can do.
Yeah.
Because I know my limitations. I know that if I was around that consciousness for too long, I'd kill them. I'd whack their heads together to wake them up. But there's nothing I can do.
And that's
Okay.
not the way anyway.
And
yeah.
if you think it's nonsense, read my story. He thinks it's nonsense.
Could you repeat again the name and the title? And
Yeah, Simply
the author?
Amazing, Chapter 8, written by Casey Armstrong.
Yeah.
Not only that, somebody interviewed me on here. It's called Two Awake Blondes. You can watch that when I was interviewed about my life story. It's all in there. I don't talk nonsense. Everybody who knows me knew I went through 2 years in a therapeutic community without any medication, with apparently a serious mental health issue, which is just a label. And all my work I've done, Vlad, I was a vanishing twin. I was a twin survivor. Remember, I lost my brother. I'm a womb twin survivor.
Yeah.
I proved that 9 out of 10 women that lost their sibling have got the same symptoms as this cloud cuckoo land mental illness called borderline personality disorder. It does not exist.
Yeah.
Bipolar exists. Casey has bipolar.
Yeah.
Casey, and he has to take medication. It's none of my
Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
Francis is schizophrenic. He has to take medication. None of my business.
Yeah.
But borderline personality disorder, if you believe in angels, then apparently you're schizoid.
Yeah.
You have a schizoid tendency because they have to control you.
Yeah.
No, if you believe in angels, you believe in angels.
Yeah.
That doesn't make you
Yeah.
schizoid.
It makes you actually a better.
It makes you a better
healthier
person, a healthier person, because
yeah.
you trust
Definitely.
that the angels are going to help you. And
Yeah.
they do. Of course, we're here.
Yeah. of
We're
course.
here. I don't have to believe in angels.
Yeah.
We are angels.
Yeah.
We're earth angels.
Yeah.
Putting you back to one of the earth angels here who've got very, very grateful to have here on Moving On TV.
We're having such a good time.
It's
haven't we?
amazing.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, what they're going to do with you tomorrow, do you think?
I think that we are going to film a very major scene. It's going to be a mass scene because we'll be like there will be like 150 maybe people, 150 people, and I'm expecting to do something grandiose, you know, and
Or like a war?
no. It's a peaceful drama.
Oh, good. Thank God
war,
for the vote.
The war goes on only inside of you. You know,
Oh,
this is the
interesting,
never-ending
right.
war. But you know, I can tell you that you can win that war, and if you win that war inside of you, you can win any war around you.
Oh, there'll be peace on earth.
Yeah, exactly.
There already
exactly.
is
Because
bits of peace on earth.
The Trojan horse is in you. It's not in the world.
Trojan
Stop blaming the world.
Yeah.
But get rid of the Trojan horse
I've got,
in you.
yeah, but I've got an idea about a Trojan horse, which I can't put on here because if I do, I'll get wiped off. Because I think we might need to get it. We may need to repeat history with that one.
I would like to thank all our viewers once again.
Yeah,
you know,
thank
that
you.
you had spent this sweet time with us. You know, like you know, I love the way it was so personal tonight. I mean, we were having food, we were sharing not just the physical food, but we were sharing the spiritual food, you know, as it is written, you know, not on a man shall live not just by bread alone, but every word that comes from the mouth of God. Here we've been sharing the truths, you know, that keep us alive, the truths that set us free, because it's written.
Yeah.
And you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. So I believe that there are many people tonight, and those who are going to watch the recording later on, Laurene, if you could tell them what
Oh, yeah.
they can see it.
Well,
They'll be
basically,
delivered.
okay, what I will do with this is I will download this. It'll probably take a night to get. YouTube usually takes a little while. And I will download this and I'll put it into your program, Loving Life, Loving People.
On YouTube?
And no, it will be on YouTube, but it'll go on Restream.
Yeah.
And I'll keep putting it on so people can watch
And
it
what
over
other
and
platforms?
over.
It's going to be on
It
Patreon,
goes on.
Patreon.
It will go on Patreon. It
Yeah,
will go
where you can
on.
go and subscribe.
Yes,
And
if you.
with as little support as just
£1 a
or-
month.
Yeah, or £5. It
And
doesn't
that
matter,
pays
yeah?
for the editing.
Exactly.
Because the
And
editing
for
is
the-
£50. The
Yeah.
editing suite is £50 a month.
Exactly.
Adobe is £50 a month.
Yeah.
And the website is something like £15 a month. And Zoom is like, and Restream is £14 a month.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Patreon kind of covers something.
Yeah.
Something.
But-
And by the grace of God,
Yeah.
I get enough to be
Yeah.
able to cover
Yeah.
running Moving On TV, but none of us get paid yet. But
yeah.
but yeah,
So
this
you're
will go on
welcome.
Facebook. It'll go on Baba Bertha.
Yeah,
Of course, it was cousin Baba Bertha.
yeah,
It'll go on Lauren Francis Ottiwill.
yeah.
It'll go on Moving On TV. It'll go on
Instagram.
YouTube.
You have a recording there on Instagram, a video.
Instagram, I can put like little bits
Yeah.
of it, but I'm
Bits of it.
I'm tired, so I can't see
Yeah.
me cutting it.
Yeah,
I think unless we do like a quick, just
Yeah.
short, but
Like
there's
a
no
show
point.
reel,
We've
like
done
a
it.
show reel, yeah.
We've done a really big interview here,
Mhm.
but it will go on Restream.
Mhm.
So Moving On TV Restream.
Mhm.
So whenever I go on there, I'll put the interview out. So then it'll go on Facebook as well.
Yeah,
You can get the link and put it on your Facebook and send
Yeah.
it around.
yeah.
A bit like your show, loving,
Yeah, 'cause
loving,
I would
like
love
loving
for
people.
many more people, to join this
Absolutely.
dinner of ours. It's like the, what they call the
Yeah.
secret dinner. It's like the special
Secret
last,
dinner
the
in
secret
High
dinner or the
Wycombe.
last dinner, the final dinner, like Jesus had with his disciples.
The Last Supper.
And we're his disciples, we're his children. So we shared the bread. We shared. We didn't have wine tonight, but it's alright. We missed
That's
it.
why I'm
but
driving, and I don't
Because she's
drink.
driving and I'm working,
And
and
you're working
I'll
and
be
I'm driving and I
I'll
don't
have to
drink.
wake up at 4 o'clock
Yeah.
this just in a few hours. Yeah, so we want to
We
thank
didn't
you
have
for,
chocolate. No
for-
chocolate. We're allowed chocolate.
yeah, for having for having us in your homes. Please share this food
We've got
with
more
us.
people joining now.
Yeah,
It's
please share this food with us. Share the spiritual food, share the bread of life, share whatever you've got at your homes, and go ahead, share this video with friends and tell them about this sweet time that you've had with us. Because
Yeah.
it's all about communication. It's all about relationship. It all started as a relationship back then at the very beginning, when human beings were perfect. They were almost like God because they were created in His image, and they would walk in the Garden of Eden, the paradise on earth, and God would walk with them, and they would have good time together. But then
Until
we did
she ate from the apple and
lots
gave
of
it
things,
to Adam.
lots of things went wrong. We just
Yeah.
decided that we know better. We
Yeah,
ate from
the
the
ego.
tree of the knowledge of good and evil,
The ego.
and suddenly we realized that we are naked and that we are not so good without God, and hence the tragedy of humanity. But thank God there is a way back.
We're going
There is a way
backwards,
back.
thank God.
We are going back. Yeah. So I've recently read this sentence. I loved it so much. The only way forward is backward.
Yeah.
Returning to the source. Returning to
Yeah.
the original.
It's not just that,
Returning
Vlad.
to our roots.
It's not just that, and I'll put the camera on me. The reason you say the only way forward is backwards is because in order to heal, you have to go back to the core of your trauma, which is usually childhood. And that's how I healed. And in the last couple of weeks, I've been doing so much work on the transition of when they moved me from Ireland to Israel and broke me. They took everything. And all my work has been around that. In order to heal, in order to move forward, you have to go backwards.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
the little child inside,
Yeah.
the reason I was doing all that tap dancing, I didn't know until I did all of that, is she was punishing me. I didn't know that, but she was angry. And so the tap dancing was, really anger, like temper and anger. It was like something inside me was trying to bring up all the rage of that child that got taken from Ireland to Israel, that lost her everything, her childhood, her grandparents, her friends, everything, even the beautiful house, the flowers, and suddenly was stuck in a war, terrorism, abuse. Everything changed overnight for that child. And again, in the therapeutic community, the 8 months that I worked in there and continuously did therapy and cried and therapy and more therapy and journaling, and it brought me to the core of the fact that I felt the child thought it was her fault.
Yeah.
And children, you have to be so careful with children. You have to treat children with respect.
Always.
You never
Always.
take a child's innocence. You treat a child with respect. Children trust everybody.
Exactly.
And you confuse them with all the awful
Yeah.
stuff you do to them.
Yeah.
And then they think it's their fault.
Yeah. Yeah.
they think it's their fault, and then they can't function, and then as they grow up they get a mental health label.
Exactly.
You look at them, they say, oh, I didn't do it.
Yeah.
That's a lot of the people that were in the therapeutic community were like, what are you looking at? I didn't do it.
Yeah.
Because they develop paranoia of some kind.
Yeah.
So what we're telling you here as well is you have to go back to the past in order to move forward.
Exactly.
You don't wallow in it. You don't stay in the past.
Yes, that's all
It's
the
gone.
point. Yeah.
And it's just a memory.
Yeah.
All it
Yeah.
is a memory, so you can change it.
Yeah.
So you don't stay in the past, but you use it in order to jump forward into having a better life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you need to take time out and deal with your childhood, do it.
Yeah.
Especially now with the ascension.
Yeah.
You know, if you're having a happy life and everything is balanced and everything's okay, then you don't need to go back.
Exactly.
But if you're not, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Or you've got no contact with a higher power.
Yeah.
As I say,
Which
this is not religious.
Which is the grand
The
return,
God thing.
The grand return. Because what Lauren just explained you so well, this is the back that she was talking about is the one that is within your lifespan, within what you've experienced from getting born on this earth until nowadays, until the present. And there is you can go further back, all the way down to the very beginning of life, to the very beginning where you were in the mind of God, and you were the seed, you know, you were part of his heavenly seed, and you were created with such love, because God is love, and he is your Father, and you were created to be loved and to love. So there are two steps. The one step is within your lifespan to go, you know, the only way forward is backward, and the other one is like even going further away, all the way to the beginning, to the beginnings, or to the origin of us human beings, because this is what makes us priceless. This is what makes us priceless. If you believe that you are just happened here by chance, you've come out of nowhere and you're going nowhere, this is so sad. This is the saddest thing that I've heard. There'll be no meaning of life then, there's no purpose, there's nothing. But if you've been designed, created with so much love, created to be loved and to love, you've got the greatest meaning possible on this planet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sorry, I said it to somebody who just made a stupid comment, because I'm not looking at the comments. They're just stupid.
Yeah.
They're just, I'm not looking at them until I'll check them afterwards.
No worries.
But the other thing as well, Vlad, sometimes you can't do anything. Sometimes,
like you're helpless, or
sometimes
is
no,
that
not
what you
helpless. Like you just have to stop,
mean?
and you have to say, you know what, I haven't got any answers.
Oh,
When you
yeah.
look at the way the world is at the moment, you just have to. This is where I love the 12 steps. You don't have to be an alcoholic or a drug addict, or I'm an addict. I get addicted to dancing. I get addicted to work. I get addicted to people. I'm not addicted to substances, but I did have an eating problem. So I'm an addict because I had stress. I was shocked. When you're shocked, you're an addict. So it's very easy to get addicted.
Yeah.
And again,
to
the camera on
anything,
me, because I'm not embarrassed, I am an addict. I always say I'm an addict. And addictions show up in different ways, yeah? So to me, when you get to a point where your addiction, like the tap dancing, I couldn't stop dancing. I couldn't. I was literally obsessed with dancing, like watching tap dancing, learning the routines. I couldn't stop. That's an addiction. And so the body said, no. Body said, you forgot about me. You forgot you broke me 5 years ago. You can't do that, Lauren. You need to go to bed. For 2 weeks, I stopped dancing, and I did praying. I did meditation. I did the two-way prayer, which is wonderful. It's where you write to God, I can't stop. I get it's like when I'm watching YouTube, oh my God, I don't remember that routine. Oh my God, what will I do? And I'm thinking, what? What's wrong with me? I'm not a trained dancer. I'm not competing. Maybe that was put into me as a child because I had to train to play the accordion. I had to be good to pass my exams.
Yeah.
And a singer.
Yeah.
And children are put under a huge amount of pressure to learn
because
maths.
It's a compulsory thing, right?
So you turn
It's
them
not-
into addicts.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
if you can't pass your exams, then
Yeah.
you're useless. No, you're not.
Yeah.
You're just not right for maths.
Yeah.
So, you know, that was too much pressure for me. All
Yeah.
the pressure.
Could you
So-
go back to the two steps of two-way prayer?
Two-way prayer is
please.
amazing.
Yeah. Explain it. So you would write something to God.
Yeah.
You would tell something
What
to
you
God.
do.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Jonathan. That's really good news. He said he used to take take drugs, but he doesn't anymore.
Oh,
Brilliant.
wow.
Well done.
Well
That's
done.
a huge thing
Oh,
to be
you're
able
Victor.
to do.
Your name is Victor now.
Yeah,
Did
you're
you
not
know
a
that?
victim, you're a victor.
Victor. Yeah.
Exactly.
Conqueror.
But the thing is, I don't judge anybody
No.
because I'm an addict. And if I took drugs, I wouldn't stop.
Yeah.
And if I took a drink, I wouldn't stop.
Yeah.
And if I had chocolate, I wouldn't stop. And either I'd have none or too much.
Yeah.
It's all about balance.
Yes.
But I never took drugs. I never took drink.
Yeah.
With me, it's the stage. It's lots of things.
Yeah.
Lots of things. With some people, it's not like you take a drug.
Yeah.
It's deeper than that.
Yeah.
So with me, it was
Exactly.
manifesting with tap dancing.
Yeah.
Dancing, I couldn't stop.
Yeah.
And I remember, I did this two-way prayer thing, and I
Yeah.
remember ringing someone.
Yeah.
I said, I'm watching YouTube, and I'm getting really upset
Yeah.
because I can't learn the routines, and I keep watching it. But why? There's no competition, there's no
Yeah.
training.
Yeah.
I'm doing it for fun.
Yeah.
But something inside me was like, I've got to learn these routines.
Yeah. It's like
So that
pressure.
was pressure.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Oh, because I'm going back in the hall and I want to be perfect. No, this is not right.
No.
And so I ended up getting sick. My leg was like, no, you're not going to
Yeah.
do it. And I love my body.
Yeah.
I love their body.
Yeah.
But thank God I was given this body
It's a
to
temple.
be
It's a
here.
temple,
It's
yeah.
a temple. Without
Yeah.
this body, I couldn't be here.
Yes.
So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah,
And I
'cause
work.
you know that we are not bodies who have a spirit.
the
We are
other way
spirits
around.
who have a body which
Exactly.
is temporary. It's
Exactly.
like a clothing that we're going to take off one day, and we'll get ready for the next stage in life.
Well, we just take it. We are starseeds. We are earth angels. We came here to teach you this stuff,
Yeah.
to be happy by doing what you love. But you have to go through a lot of shit. But we can teach you how to deal with it.
Exactly.
So the most important way of dealing with it, I learned, is called two-way prayer.
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's on Outreach,
Yeah, yeah.
on WhatsApp.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is that
Just
Vlad
explain.
from the Facebook? Yeah, it is Vlad.
Yeah.
I don't know, someone called Nicole. Yeah, it's Vlad Mladinov, right?
Ah, yeah.
It's
yeah.
our Vlad. So,
Yeah.
so coming back to what I was, more people are joining now. It's
Yeah.
typical. So two-way prayer is incredible. You get up and you write to God. You write everything. Like,
Yeah.
God, I can't stop watching YouTube videos. Oh my God, what's that? The whole world's gonna end if Laurene doesn't learn a tap dancing routine.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's like chocolate. I can't stop, or I don't want any.
Yeah.
So you can either stop tap dancing altogether, or you can find that balance.
Exactly.
And that's the answer. So I wrote this letter to God about everything, and it's like, oh my God. And then I talked to someone, and they're so full of wisdom. These people have done this for a while. They have to, because if not, they'd be dead
Yeah.
from drugs and drink, you know.
Yeah, of
So
course.
I'm luckier than they are, because
Yeah.
I don't have that, thank God. And so they get the answers, and it's like, okay, take a breath. Okay, who is telling you to do this? Where is this coming from?
Yeah.
Stop. Stop. And the minute you stop, that's when you start to suffer. It's like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And everything comes up.
You
And
get the cold turkey.
you get the cold turkey.
Yeah.
You can't dance for 2 weeks. Oh my God, I'm in cold turkey.
Yeah, dancing turkey.
Dancing turkey. Dancing cold turkey.
Yeah.
But no, you look for something else. The
Exactly.
mind says,
Exactly.
okay, what should I do now?
A substitute,
Should I
right?
do gardening?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I don't get a addicted to gardening. I don't
It's
get.
not your weakness, right? Yeah, it's not mine either.
And then okay, what can I do now? Oh, there's got to be something. I can go on moving on TV and sing for 48 hours.
Yeah. You can do that.
And it goes on and on because I don't take drugs and I don't drink and I don't smoke and I'm bored. There's only so much chocolate you can eat. So you get to a point where you have to say help.
Yeah.
And so I said help.
Help. I
Help!
need somebody.
I need somebody.
Not
And I
everybody.
rang up my sponsor. The sponsor is the person that takes you through the steps.
Yeah.
And I said, she said, I do belly dancing. Do belly dancing instead of tap dancing. So we're all in it, and she was laughing, and so we started laughing. So and so we started laughing. I don't understand the comments. Somebody said that Liam is your brother. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, we're all brothers and sisters. Thanks.
Exactly.
Okay, so so we do tap dancing. We do belly dancing instead. Yeah. So yesterday I went to the hall, and I had it for 2 hours, and it was amazing. And I said, okay, Laurene, you're not going to compete, you're not training, you're not going on TV, you're not even doing, you see, when you're doing a show, Vlad, you need to learn your lines and there's pressure.
Of course.
Okay, so
tell
you
me
take
about
it on 6 months earlier.
Yeah, all the people, when they say, oh, I want to be an actor, you don't know what you want.
No.
You just see the glamour,
Yeah,
you just see
yeah,
the glory.
The
and-
fear of
yeah.
forgetting your lines on
My
the
goodness,
stage.
the stage, right? And
Yeah.
and all the responsibility to be, not just to be present, not just to, to get rid of all of these thoughts. Oh, you're not gonna make it. They're better. They're people better than you. Oh, you're going to screw it. You're going to blow it.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna forget your lines.
Oh my
you're gonna,
God,
You're gonna
you're gonna
behave
forget
like
my
very
lines.
weird.
Yeah.
The director won't like you. The camera.
My voice won't work.
Yeah, or anything. It's
And
like crazy.
there's huge
And
amount
you
of stress.
have to be
Huge.
like real. You have to be like real. You
tell you
can't
what
afford
else,
yourself to
crazy.
relax. You can't afford yourself to be weak. You've got to be present 100%
Yeah.
and give your best. And it's
The
draining.
mind,
It's
the mind.
draining. After acting, just doing one day of acting, I feel like I've been working for 10 days.
Do you know what? Actually, I'm the opposite. Every time I went on as Piaf, when we got an audience, I would come off there and I was like, oh my God, I love it. I can't wait to go back
Oh,
again.
that's a different
Because
thing.
that's
That's
the
a different
addiction.
experience, yeah.
Is that the
Exactly.
addiction? You get hooked.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me this is the
Stoned.
mind. This is the mind. Do you know what? I used to get this, right? The mind would say to me, okay, I've got to go out there and I've got to get an audience, right? And then the mind would say to me, but what if you forget your lines on stage? Oh no, I better not get an audience. Oh, I'd rather nobody came.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
So instead of helping yourself to get an audience, Emmanuel, he sent us a heart.
Oh, he's there. Oh,
I don't know. It could be
Yeah, I
someone
thought-
pretending
I thought
to be
about,
him.
our Emmanuel,
I don't know if it's him.
May-
It could be
when we're
someone.
finished,
It could be
we'll-
someone pretending to
No,
be
worries,
him.
we'll give him a call.
Yeah,
when
of course we
finish,
will.
yeah.
But you see, the mind used to say to me, I'm not joking, when I was going like really on the big stuff like Leicester Square, when I
Yeah.
did Edith Piaf, that was my biggest achievement, Leicester Square, in the Leicester Square Theatre after Edinburgh.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh my God, I hope the press don't come. I hope the press come. If the press come, I might get famous. If the press don't come, I might forget my lines. Oh, and it's the mind. It's like going, and it's just insane.
Yeah.
And then you get, I need to go to the toilet every time. Every time before you go on the stage, you feel
Yeah.
like you need to go to
Yeah,
the loo.
exactly.
And you think, if I go on, I'm not going to be able to do it. And with Piaf, she's always drinking. And it's like, I've got to make sure that I only sip.
Yeah.
So it's not easy to be an actor.
Yeah.
You have to be it's all about discipline and
Yeah.
structure. That's why it makes you well,
Yeah.
because you're doing a job.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I remember a time when I was in the wheelchair, and Francis, did you meet Francis? He used to be my piano player,
I know.
my
Yeah.
friend Francis. I remember, I'll
It's,
never
Natasha,
forget this.
Natasha, I think.
Yeah,
The-
no,
the-
Nata-
She was.
no, that Francis is somebody else. Who
Yeah, yeah.
he was in Maria Callas with me.
Ah, okay.
He did all the funny. He's an amazing actor.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, he used to do Piaf with me. I'll never forget this, guys. When I was in the wheelchair and I decided to do a Piaf, a live show on Facebook. We've got people here. It's nice. And just before Francis got there, I was having a bit of I was upset. Well,
Yeah.
because I was in a wheelchair,
Yeah,
and I was
crying out
upset,
loud.
and I was
Yeah.
crying. Then I put on my little black dress and my little wig, and that was it.
Yeah.
Francis turned up, boom, the show went on.
Yeah.
And do you know what I love about Piaf? Because she does Je ne regrette rien.
Yeah. Yeah.
She went through hell. She's my mentor. There were times when I didn't want to go on anymore, and I'd think, can you come here, please? Because I need you. She was an amazing woman.
Yeah.
I mean, she was brought up with prostitutes. She was on the street selling her body from the time she was a little child. She had no love whatsoever. Her parents put her into, her father, I think,
Yeah.
put her into some kind of prostitution
Yeah, almost
thing.
like one of the Les Miserables, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This
Well,
children, yeah.
she had
She
nothing.
Was a miserable.
She was into heroin, drugs, men, drink, you name it.
Yeah.
She was in and out of institutions continuously.
Yeah.
She died at the age of 44, and she looked like she was
Too young.
94.
Too young.
94. She was so sick. Her liver was completely destroyed from all the drinking and the heroin and the drugs. I do the shooting up on the stage. I do the whole thing on the
Yeah.
stage.
Yeah.
But at the end, she sings Je ne regrette rien. She says, I don't regret anything. I had an amazing life. She's on her deathbed. She dies at the end of the show. She never regretted it because she lived everything. She never regretted any of it. And she never recovered. She died as an addict. She was just consumed with liver cancer and everything you can imagine, from drugs, drink, and men. That's the bit I like. All her young men. She had lots of young men. I think her husband, her last husband, Tita, well, she was only 44, so I think there was about 10 years between them.
Yeah.
But she never regretted any of it. And in spite of all the pain she went through, she was ready to leave. She had a very strong belief in Saint Therese and God, but she had such, even though her loved one was killed in a airplane crash, Marcel Cerdan, she was grateful for her life.
Wow.
And she sang Je ne regrette rien.
So that's what people
Je ne
call the
regrette
strength.
rien. I
Yeah.
regret nothing.
Yeah.
Non rien de rien. Je ne regrette rien.
Yeah.
You know, all the bad stuff.
See.
I regret nothing, and there's us sometimes, and I regret so much in my life. I'm not afraid to admit it. I do.
Yeah.
If I could go back on a time machine now, I'd go back to Ireland. I would go back to Ireland and I would do my life again, and never ever been put in Israel, ever, because that was a terrible thing to do to a child. But if I hadn't gone there, I wouldn't be on here, would I?
Yes, right
I'd be wearing one of those, hiding behind the couch.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here. I'd be dead, because the body wouldn't have taken it.
Yeah.
So everything happens for a reason. Spiritually, I know why I went through the childhood I did, because it made me strong, and it made me understand how humans work. It made me understand a lot, but it's a learning process. I'm very innocent and
Always.
very naive, as you know, or else what happened to Moving on TV couldn't have
Yeah.
happened the other day.
Yeah.
So anyway, what's
Yeah.
that? I like Stream. The Dole Police. Whatever. The Dole Police.
Funny.
I don't know, these people, we always get strange people on here,
Yeah,
Vlad. So
but I think
So it's-
unless they're
We've got two lives.
malevolent, unless they're malevolent and they just don't realize what they're doing. I like all these people, because I know that it's those who feel the need to hear this message. They're most welcome, even if they hurt, even if they are able to hurt someone else.
Yeah.
I still believe that this message of love, this message of faith, this message of encouragement, this message that we are never alone, that we were not created to be alone, that we were created to be together, and that we've got this Heavenly Father who takes care of us all in the midst of our troubles, in the midst of our trials, in the midst of our tragedies that we've been going through. You know, we know that we are never alone, and I think this is the most powerful message that we will ever learn on this earth. So together with Laurene, we are living examples. Our testimonies, our lives are living testimonies of the goodness of God. That life has a deeper meaning, and that it's worth living. It's worth living. So tonight, before we end up this beautiful, sweet, homey type conversation and time together, we would love to tell you and to wish you all the best, and to tell you that you are loved, you are precious, and here we are together for you. Thank you, Laurene. Yeah, honestly, we had such a great time. This is such a gift from God. We're together in this. We're all together in this, and we'll make it. We'll make it even better.
We will make it.
Yeah.
We're going to get there.
So have hope.
Vlad couldn't say it any better than I did. And from the heart, from both of us, Moving On TV is here for you. Is that? Is Vlad on the dog? I don't understand why these questions just don't fit what we're talking about.
Maybe they'll explain.
Maybe they'll understand another time. But
yeah.
all I'm saying is Moving On TV is here for you in order to keep the light going.
Yeah.
And whoever comes on here with comments that really, they think it's comedy, whatever, they're not used. I know exactly who it is, and you need to use your comedy. And I offered you an opportunity yesterday, and you messed it up. And I don't give people more than a few chances, do I, Vlad? Well, because I can't, because it's messing with my life.
Time is precious.
It's messing with my life now, and if people want to commit and work properly, we're here. And as I said to you, that I had this idea of creating a show called, it's something like it's a fucking shite life.
Yeah. You know what?
It's a fucking shite life.
Yeah, we're very
I think that would be so funny.
This time together is all about building each other up. Not tearing each other
I know
down.
it's you, Stu, so stop hacking Moving On TV.
If there's anything good, anything proper, anything that would encourage people, please go ahead and do it,
Yeah, hang on, let's put the camera back on you.
Yeah, if you're in need, if you struggle with something, if you're angry with someone or something, if you're unhappy, you're more than welcome here. Don't get me wrong, but please, try for once to do it in the way that you would like other people do it for you, This is the golden rule, after all. Do unto others as you would wish them do to you, right? So whatever you want for yourself, do it unto others. So you've got the platform, even through the comments, don't be afraid. If you're tired, if you're angry, if you're irritated, annoyed, whatever, I don't know what's going on in your life, we are here to tell you that life could be so much better.
Yeah. And
it's been designed to be so much better. The very thing, that you've got this tension within yourself, this pressure, this unresolved issues, speaks volumes, speaks more than words, that you were not created to be like this. That this imbalance in your soul, that this trouble, this trouble that's going on, that this horror that you're going through, that this is not right. This is not what you were created for. You long for peace, you long for love, you long for care, you long for friendship, you long for not to be alone. So you long for all these things that we all long for. So come and join us. You're welcome.
Yeah.
God bless you all.
Couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, right, that was absolutely beautiful. I'm going to go and sit beside you so we can say goodbye properly.
Let's do it.
So, right.
Thank you once again, guys. We are together with Laurene, this child of God, this child of light. Yeah.
To earth.
Yeah. Yeah, and my
Angels.
mentor, and my musical director. I'm so proud to have her in my life. She's a gift from God, and she's a gift from God for anyone who can appreciate it. Because so many times we are surrounded by beautiful things. We are like overflowed, overwhelmed with beautiful things and gifts, but if only we had the eyes to see it. So I pray tonight that your eyes will be open so that you can appreciate the smallest things, because it's the small things, in life that makes the greatest difference in your life.
Yeah. And
Yeah?
I hope you can see us, but a little bit like that. So thank you guys for tuning in to Moving On TV. Please join us
Yeah.
to realise your dreams as well. Please share and like. And we're just asking you to think a little bit about yourselves and what it is you want to do. And I mean, Vlad couldn't have put any more than I could, so I don't need to say anything else. So take care.
Yeah, join us. Join us on Patreon. You can watch us on Facebook, on YouTube, Moving On TV, always, all the time. And there'll be a recording of this broadcast.
This
Yeah?
is going to go everywhere.
Yes.
So namaste. Take care. Lots of love.
God
And
bless.
look forward. This will go on as soon as I can
Yes,
download it.
sure.
Okay.
Love you. Love you
Bye.
guys.
Wow. Thank you.